There's a lag. Say something.
Hello?
Wow, there's like a massive lag behind your video. Your video's coming through like way later than your
Hello?
audio.
Hello? 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 Hello?
We might need to restart Muse.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, I'm getting the hellos now on the video. That's nuts. How has this only started? Now that I've started streaming, now I'm suddenly getting a massive lag.
It's just how it goes, mate. It's just how it goes.
Can you also like listen to the... If you listen to the stream and then just check that I'm not coming through, because
Dirty sausage.
You can hear that.
I can hear dirty sausage, but I'm also seeing my own mic coming through on, like, it's almost like coming through twice. I don't know why. Audio.
Yeah, I've got.
Have you got me coming back to me? It sounds like I'm hearing myself again.
No, I've just got you.
Oh wait, no, I've done it. Whoops.
And is
Right.
my video caught up yet?
Yeah, that's still coming back. God damn it. Let's turn that off. How do I turn that off? Check. 1111. Yeah, it's still doing that thing.
Come on, Dom, sort it out.
Alright, let me just turn that off. Okay. It says, please leave this room before joining another one. I haven't left it. I haven't joined it. I joined another one. Right. I think I need to restart Muse because it's being
Maybe
weird.
you fucked it.
Yeah, I think I have. Okay. Okay, right. Let's quit that. Restart it again, or maybe just do... If I just join the session there. Good start. A real good start. Strong start. Okay. Right, that seems to be better. Now I've just got to line you up
Dom,
again.
are you there?
Can you hear me?
Hell, Dom.
Dude, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can.
Yes, right, good.
Was it mono?
Yeah, it's mono. Okay, right, we're back. What a mess.
Is my video caught up as well?
Say something?
Is that better now?
Yeah, that's much better, yeah.
Yay, finally, it's working.
Just had to restart. No idea what happened.
Fantastic.
Stop doing that. Right. So... Okay, have you shared it on all your things? I need to tell everyone that I'm live.
Yeah. I've done what I can.
Yeah, let's just take a second to share it. Bloody hell. Okay.
Just keep calm, Dom, no stressing out.
Yep, of course. Let me just check that it's coming through on the stream. Yeah, I mean, that is. I managed to
Welcome
get.
to Dom Howard's studio.
I managed to get one whole like on my tweet, so that's really good. Anyway,
Dom Howard Ice My Friend.
what was that?
Don't know what you're talking about. So
Okay, I've blocked off your image with one of my windows. Sorry. Okay, give us a shout if you're in the chat. What would you like us to talk about? Otherwise, we're just gonna discuss plugins. So, have you got this UVI what's it called? A subscription.
I don't, but I own everything.
You own everything,
Pretty much.
including these solo instruments.
Yeah, but I don't have them installed because it's like, I think the whole thing's
It's like gigabytes of stuff.
a terabyte
Fair enough.
at least.
Well, do you want to share your screen and then you can talk us through what you were doing before?
Yeah. Start with that, yeah?
Yeah, might as well.
Might as well.
Yep. Oh my god. Did you have subscriber only chat on all this time? Can't comment in the chat without subscribing.
Take it off, Dom.
God damn it. Right,
Take it
let me sort this out. How do I do this? I've got no idea what I'm doing, to be honest. So right, I go to my channel and then why can't I chat settings, okay. No, it's not letting me.
Come on, Dom, sort it out, you sausage.
Okay, it's just like create a dashboard, is it? Or is it settings? Maybe it's settings. No.
Come on, Dom.
Mate, I must have clicked something.
You're supposed to be a professional streamer.
I've got no idea. What? Really? I mean, aren't you supposed to make money from streaming before you can call yourself a...
That's Spotify, I think. But then you don't make any money doing that either.
Oh, subscriber only chat. No.
Ah, he's here. Thomas is here.
There we go.
Dear. I hit Thomas up the other day.
Oh, yeah?
About going onto his podcast because it's really adult and kind
Yeah,
of...
because he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing, that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I didn't want to say that. Hopefully he'll still accept me.
How's it looking? Yes, Jack. Just got bombarded with 4 30-second ads. Sorry.
This is just for Thomas. Oh, no.
Welcome, Thomas.
Nice. I think I need to turn your volume up on both of your things.
Okay.
You're quite quiet.
Lekker.
But
Lekker.
could also do with having a bit of a gate on your thing. I don't know if you can gate it, can you? Your mic.
Why? How loud is the background noise?
Well, it's just like a bit. I can hear all your clicking and your rumbles, and
I can put a pop screen on if you like.
it's more like, I don't know. If you do, you have a Focusrite?
I've got the Claret, yeah.
So if you go into the Claret like dashboard thing,
It's
I don't know
USB mic though. USB mic, so it's not gonna.
so it's just straight in. You can't add any like gates on it.
I'll try and keep noise to a minimum. I might actually be able to isolate the mic with some foam. That would be really handy.
Have you got loopback or something?
Loopback is on at the moment.
You might be able to. Is it going via
Is it
loopback?
better?
You might be able to use
better?
a gate on that.
Is it better now?
Click the mouse. Yeah, I can still hear all of that. I mean, it's
All right,
fine.
well, fuck it.
Whatever.
It's fine.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
I'm not Joe Rogan, do you know what I mean?
The chat box is too small to read. Yeah, that is a point. The trouble is, if I make the chat box bigger, then it's like covering half the screen. Maybe if I put Sparrow down here and then we're hello.
Left or right?
You're to your left, I think. Yeah, there you go.
Mr. Siskiyou. Easy Jack.
Okay, is that better for the text box, for the chat box? It seems a bit overbearing, really. It's just a massive thing on the screen.
I can't believe Thomas is having to school you on Twitch while you're live streaming.
Yeah, well, no, I've done everything. I was doing it as I was talking. There we go. Bit of that. Oh.
Right.
Oh, I can even like reach into the slightly.
So what do you want to do then?
So well, we were talking about plugins. What's that?
I'm just checking the stream.
Oh right, okay. I
It was
thought you were playing some
1900 when
EDM.
L. Frank Baum wrote the
I'm going to
wonderful
try and
Wizard
keep
of Oz.
everything
And over the century and more since
to a
then,
minimum.
some
Right.
things
What are you? You're still broadcasting all
Yellow
your
Brick Road
audio.
still captures an essence
Yeah, I'm
of
going
the
to try and...
Can you
I've got
mute
the-
it?
You know that Janet? Where's this? She's shaving the whole
Why is
lot.
the adverts coming?
Yeah, I'm hearing like all
Oh my
this.
god.
It's true.
You see, I'm not hearing any of that.
How come?
Oh, because loopback's turned off. See, I'm not hearing it. Sorry about that. Cool. All right. All good.
Okay.
Let's go. Share screen.
All right.
Entire screen. Entire.
Oh no, it's shared to the wrong side. Hang on. Get exit full screen. Can you? Oh, this is annoying. So, how can I move the screen that you're sharing to a specific screen of mine? I think I have to drag you out of here. Ah, it's so annoying. That's one thing. So Muse Sessions is like,
Tech support stream.
well, it's just not quite there yet. You know, I can.
You're not quite there yet.
This is now your screen, but the trouble is, yeah, there we go. Okay, now I can put you back. Proper boomers, yeah.
Proper boomers.
I can't do it. What? What am I doing? So this is now your screen, which you also have an empty Logic project.
Yeah, that's my screen.
Cool. So you are in control.
Cool.
Dom is a boomer.
So yeah, I was talking about plugins with Dom, and we were kind of talking about drums and stuff like that, and what I use a few different things, mainly this one, if you can see it.
No, you have to not share Logic. You have to share your entire screen, because otherwise you can't see the stuff that you're opening. Hey, there it is.
Yeah, there. Okay,
Goes the
so this
boomer
is,
now. Can you?
Are you-
Yeah, you can get rid of the video of me. Yeah. Good.
Yeah. So this is people probably already know about this. This is UVI Drum Designer, and it comes as like with a sequencer, but each individual channel or like on the kick, for instance, you've got your kick controls and you can edit everything. But the good thing about this is everything's synthesized. There is some kind of sample-based stuff going on in there, but the layers that it adds. So the presets, the patches are pretty shit. But in terms of sound, I'll just run you through it. I'll just put a. I'm going to turn down the master channel so you can hear me. Right, so
you gotta put the Muse Sessions plugin on.
Yeah. All right, Dad. Yeah, we're good. Can you hear that?
Yeah, it sounds awful.
Yeah, it's disgusting, isn't it? Right, so basically the plugin comes with like a load of different like cheesy like Black Sun Empire. Like it just sounds nothing like it. But when you start looking at the patterns and the actual sounds inside the actual things itself, so like for the snare, you can basically go in and modify everything. So in each individual layer you've got, if I switch them all off, sorry, for solo, you've got the body, tone, which is basically a sine wave, noise, and then like some kind of tone on top to give that layer. So if we go back and just solo and go to the effects, we'll turn the reverb down a little bit. Go back to the sequencer, snare. So on this, you can basically go through and you can change individual portions of that to get exactly the snare that you want.
So if you just like mute them all and then just like start with the body, say, and then like get that, and then you kind of dial in each.
Yeah, so like on here you've got acoustics. I mean, I'm in love with rim shots. Do you know what I mean? Like I just love rim shots. And I had a drummer record some for me. His name is Noah, and he lives in LA at the moment. But
that's one of the things with sample packs, like good cymbals and good like rim shots are just impossible to come across.
Yeah, he basically like did all these, and like they're just fantastic. Like he did all different types, one with a shaker on it, and then he sort of give me like this custom. I mean, look at them, like
that's sick.
So he gave me all those. He did a session the other day for me, and I worked with him. We used to work with him at Subpack.
Nice.
And now he just does different work in LA now, doing like crazy stuff, but I can't talk about it because it's NDA. But he's doing some really mad stuff out there with sound engineering. So anyway, so looking for like a
Can you get
good
rid of
sound.
this Muse plugin? Just close it. It'll be fine.
Yeah. So that one's cool. So then the pitch here, you can sort of say, you know, I'll just reset everything and the delays and everything. So you've got a high pass and a low pass on there. The filters aren't too bad. So
Nice.
once you found that, then you can go into...
Can you load in your own sounds into those bits?
You can't.
No. But there's plenty to choose from, to be fair.
There's an absolute ridiculous amount, yeah. The coloured section, which is this tone...
Bit racist.
Relates to this section here. So what you can do is you can actually go through, let's say, layer it. Change the pitch. Let's say track's in F.
So can we hear it just on its own without the rim? So it's like, yeah, that's like the pitch of it. Pew.
Yeah. Take it off. And then you got to shape, just like
That's really
distortion. And then if you want to have it like just a little bit of a delay after the transient, like you would do with a kick.
Yeah, you'd like let the click come through, and then what are the things either side of A and D? So they're like little lines. So you see where it says AHD. With
Yeah,
each
these
dial.
are the curve. It's the curve.
Oh, it's the curves.
So
Right,
you
nice.
can- And then next layer.
That'll be the noise.
So that's this one.
Yeah.
You can whack that up stereo.
So like, if you put the hold all the way up, how long does it hold for? Right.
If you want to tune it that way, you can do. I mean, you know, you can have it so it plays the key of the keyboard. So
Okay. So it changes pitch as you.
yeah, as you go along.
But doesn't the keyboard only play the what's it
When
called?
it's in, I'll get onto that bit in a minute. Basically, you can have these loaded in as separate.
Oh, as like an
things.
individual.
Yeah, so check this out.
Okay.
So, for instance, if you just want to have like a snare,
Oh, you can like do different pitches of the snare.
yeah,
On
and
the
if you
one
turn,
keyboard, yeah.
yeah, if you want to like keep the top the same, you just take that off. You can do the same with the actual. So the only thing that really gets affected is the top, the noise
Right.
section. So
Yeah.
if you go to like, I don't know, acoustic.
That's so detailed.
Obviously it's sampled bass, but the synthesized bits on top are really cool. So then you've got the noise layer, probably turn that down, and then you can mono that.
Nice.
And then last but not least, got tambourine. So
Or like, you could layer a clap over it.
yeah, but they actually give you the frequencies as well.
Whoa.
So like 1K straight in, no messing.
Perfect. Can you go into minus times? Oh yeah, sick. You can. So Siskiyou's saying if you could split the different layers down the keyboard but keep certain samples as the bass, just the other layers change. That's exactly what you can do.
Yeah, that's
So
exactly what you can do.
by turning on the keyboard, you make it change with pitch with the keyboard, or you can
Basically.
turn off the keyboard. But each layer is separate.
Exactly. So let's just mute.
Oh, the
these
sample doesn't change, no, but the
the sample
pitch.
can change.
Oh really?
If you click the keyboard icon, it'll follow down the keyboard. If you don't click it, you can change the actual pitch of it to the key of your track.
I think he was saying if you could do it so that it changes samples with each pitch.
Oh right, okay.
But I don't think you can do that.
So let's just. I'm gonna turn this up a little bit. Probably turn
Yeah,
that snare down.
Just stick a limiter on before the. Oh no, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, all right. So same again with the kick, really. I mean, let's just turn that.
Oh.
Hello. Hello.
What's happened there?
I don't know.
It didn't like
That's my
it.
desktop, by the way. Hope you enjoy it.
Hey, that is, yeah, pretty organised.
What's that? What's happening there? Anyway, right, okay. Oh, fuck this. Wonder why it did that. Anyway, back to where we were. I'm just going to show you individuals because it's just fucking easier. So this is what you can get if you load up just the kick portion of it.
I mean, to be fair, I prefer having like you need
separates.
to
Get the muse.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I prefer the separates as well because then you know you can do multi-out from the plugin, but it's like if you find a sample elsewhere and you want to just have a kick. It's like, you know, it's easy to do that way. So the kick is like exactly the same. You got two portions. You got top, and then you got the bottom.
It's clipping slightly. Can you shove a limiter on before the?
Yeah.
Before that, just so we make sure that we're not blasting people.
That better.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay, so at the moment, these are both following the keyboard. Now it's not, so I can choose the actual bottom of the kick.
So you can and it tells you what note it is as well, so you
Exactly.
can tune it to the like pitch of the track.
Yeah, so
I
like
know
G's
some
like
people like
49
doing
hertz in it or something. So I'd probably,
Yeah.
I usually have my kicks like 49 to 70.
Yeah.
So I, you know, like I want to leave space for the sub and not do much side chaining.
Yeah.
So then, you know, because I've clicked the keyboard, I can have that layer. The sample gets lower.
So
but
the tone is always the same, but the body's
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then you've got all these different kicks to choose from. Quite nice. And then here, the actual sine sort of portion of it, you've got coloured, you've got warm, you've got analog sine. So that'll give you more of a distortion, which is weighty. And you cycle through till you find a nice transient. So that's quite nice.
TMSV says, what's that folder named Ahegao on your desktop? We do it by name and then you can find it.
Yeah, there might be stuff I can't.
It's like
What is
anime
it called?
porn or something.
No pot. Authorization files. This computer is just full of fucking crap. Anyway, so then in the tone section here, you've got an amplifier for the tone, so you can have that increase the time if you want to do
808 subs.
808s, yeah. And then you've got the pitch. And then tone wave. So this is like...
So tone pitch on the other one. Can you go back to tone pitch? So the
Yeah.
depth, can you like make it bigger depth? So then it's like more. Right. And if you go bigger depth and shorter time,
Yeah, it'll give you that kind of...
that kind of like EDM kind of style kick to
Yeah.
it. Wow.
But then, you know, when you're going through the kicks and stuff, if you go to the tone wave, that's the distortion, so it kind of dials it in. So
Okay.
that's, but then, you know, they've got already made loads of like...
Right.
And they're really nice 808s.
That's good.
And then you just Then you've got creative parts. Boots and cats. The actual really nice. You got some playable instruments actually. So
James says when Ryan was talking about the curves, is there a way to change the character to gate or control the release? As I was hearing some sound overlap when playing more than one hit. Is there a way? So, as in, like, you know how samplers you can have in the, you can change the polyphony so that.
So it's mono.
So it's mono, yeah, or like legato.
Yeah, well, I think all of it. Let me just check. This is forced mono as standard with the kick.
But obviously,
With
when
snares.
you have the
More than one
multi-sample, then it's
Yeah.
polyphony.
Yeah, let me just check that.
If you do like really long snare,
Yeah, that's
that's polyphony.
So
Is there a way to? Is it in the top of the channel? So like, let me control your mouse for a sec. How do I?
it's voices is down here. So, but that let's just see.
Yeah, voices.
Yeah, voice is 0. So let's see how many.
Oh no, that's.
Yeah, that's how many you're playing, isn't it?
Yeah. If you go to the multi, next to where it says main, above.
It might be in the actual thing itself. So the actual UVI workstation, which is what it's, because obviously like UVI workstation is basically contact.
How do I request to use
Poly.
your mouse?
Poly 1.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Yeah, that's fine.
Really?
Yeah, it's only one voice.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, because it won't do.
Yeah. So that's
Right.
good.
So is that in multi? Was it?
Yeah,
No,
in
yeah.
multi. But the thing is, because you've got one voice, you need 4 because you've got 4 layers. There you go. There's the
Of
sign.
course. So if you do 4, then and then try and play a chord of like multiple snares. Make the snares really long and then go from one to the next. As in like, can you can't do like a general length of a snare. Yeah, there you go. So go like
Yeah.
boom boom. Yeah, so it cuts off the previous one.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's that. My absolute favourite thing about this thing is the clap designer, because there's some really, 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 really nice claps.
Oi.
So this has got like a time stretch on it, so you can get that boodum on these. And you've got the colour, decay. The nice thing about this is if you're working with 808s or claps, you've got a quantize, a gate.
Oh.
So it will keep it, you don't have to fiddle about with
Like
trimming everything.
trimming everything.
And then you've got
awesome.
your individual start layers and all the rest of it. So again, you've got noise layer, woody sound. So if you start changing all these,
Man. This is, I was saying to Ryan earlier, this is like, it's one step beyond sort of goat herding sort of levels of getting deep into your drums.
yeah, this is me all over now. Like I just do work with this all the time because it's got really nice reverbs as well.
I just wouldn't be able to stop. You just start. It's like modular, isn't it? You just kind of.
That's it.
You just tweaking and tweaking and tweaking, and then you end up with something that you're kind of like, okay, well now I've got a really, really, really nice clap sound that I've spent 4 hours making.
Well, that's it. It's like when you watch some of the drum and bass streams. No offense, Thomas. It's like they spend hours just like trying to get this synthesized thing, and it's like, there's your top layer. And it's like, okay, it's a personal thing, but it's like, if there's a plugin that will help you do those claps, like, why not use it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and so many times I get like frustrated with like, oh, if only I had X, or if only I could make this sample slightly more, whatever. And then you start using like layers on layers on layers on layers. And then, none of them are quite... Yeah, and then you've got phasing, and like I was using phaser line quite a lot, just especially for kick drums, where you're just kind of like, okay, well I like that bit of the kick drum, but I want the character of this bit of the kick of this other kick sample, and then you're trying to sort of like make them fit together and use phaser line to kind of get them to sit, and then phaser line doesn't really know what you're trying to do.
That's kind of like what that disperser plugin does with kilohertz as well. It kind of alters the phase relationship between the kick and the sub bass as well, which makes it really super handy to use. But I can talk about that one. I just like some of these claps. They're just so
great,
just so clean.
There's one in the old. Do you remember like Spitfire Audio Labs? The old labs they brought out before they brought out the kind of the new like their own plugin. It used to be a contact thing, and they had some claps in that, which are great, and they've got kind of room mics as well, and there's like different like amounts of people, like 2 people and like 4 people, 8 people. Men and women, so like different sized hands, I guess, without getting too sort of gender whatever about it. What's going on in the chat? Google how to take back Twitch sub, says Thomas. Thanks. Okay.
Yeah, dubspec. It's basically sculpting a hit to fit a song you're working on, rather than looking for a load of samples and then having to go in and trim it or alter it. It's like you're literally going to get exactly what you want straight away with this plugin, and it will be the cleanest thing that you can get to start with, then dirty it up, rather than having to cut out dirt that a sample pack has added for you, or a normalized sound or something imperfect in the sample, reverb or anything like that a lot of these sample packs have.
I mean, one of the classics is like all the sort of Vengeance packs where everything's like compressed within an inch of its life.
Even Splice though, like Splice is so much reverb on stuff. So this is the gate on a ride on a hi-hat. So if you turn it off and you're making something really concise, you can still have the release on there, or it'll just stop. And you can have the attack up. So you don't really need to compress anything. And then you've got the colour, the EQ, sick, pitch, edit, noise, all the different noise. And then you've got your convolver. So I really like the springs, like modelled.
I mean, even just having that those amount of reverb choices, that's ridiculous. Like a plugin in itself.
Yeah, it's ridiculous because sound design, you've got harmonics, and it works really well. Actually, go back to the kick a second.
Yeah, so you could like
if you go back to, let's say, on the Dilla one, if you go, because they've put bright space on there, if you go down to like harmonics,
can you change the pitch of
that? Only if you play up the key, because it's a reverb. So you'd have to go back.
So the harmonic reverb
It's a sample, basically, is the IR.
Oh.
So you can't change that independently. I mean, you probably could if you edited the source file and just like put it in a certain key, I guess. But then,
Yes.
like, you know,
Stuff
these-
like that for kicks,
yeah.
where you just get this like tank
knock.
sort of reverb.
And everybody likes that on drum and bass, and they usually do it with like high pass reverbs and stuff.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That one. And then you got
That's nuts.
and then let's try some different ones.
That is absolutely mental. How many of
you
them
got-
there are?
Yeah, there's just, I mean, old phone gives you that nice,
Yeah, nice.
3K kind of.
It's annoying you can't like just sort of just have that as a plugin and just put other stuff through it.
Well, the thing is with the UVI, the monthly thing, you can get everything.
All
like,
of
this
these
is-
reverbs,
this is all
they're all
models.
from some other plugin that you can
Exactly.
get.
Exactly
Right.
that, yeah.
Can you load up your own impulse responses?
I imagine you can do if you go into the, because it's just like Contact. So underneath the hood of this is like
There'll be a folder full of
There'll be
impulse responses, and you
yeah,
just whack it in.
basically, yeah. You know, like this is just like Contact, and then UVI Drum Designer is inside, and then you know there'll be source files like Contact uses NK system or NKI,
Yeah.
and you can just go in and edit those. But if we take that down,
I just realised I left my mouse on your screen, so it was being streamed to my Twitch with two mice, two cursors.
you know, so you got nice delay, just a little bit of space. If you're doing hip hop or drum and bass, and it's quite minimal, like that bit of ambience,
Yeah, that's
it's like
gonna make all the difference. Yeah.
make all the difference. And it's the space as well that's inside there. So that's UVI Drum Designer. It's fucking amazing. Go and buy it. It's like 100 quid. They have sales all the time.
Is it worth? You'd say it's worth like signing up to their email
Their subscription
mailing
thing.
lists.
Oh yeah, for sure. They give like 40% off and all this kind of stuff all the time.
Right.
Gonna show you something a little bit of a cheaty little thing. I'm gonna have to do drum synth first. So a lot of people who I speak to, they always go on about how they can't hear resonances in songs, and especially with like hi-hats and you know, like an imperfect room and stuff like that.
Like what I was saying about the strings on that disco tune.
Exactly. Like, you know, it's hard to hear resonances sometimes. Like, you listen to that and you go, oh, that sounds okay. But it's like, is it?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a custom grid. And then we'll put that up there. It's going to be really annoying. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back in. Right, so first little cheat code. And basically everybody who's like using Soothe and all that kind of thing, like nothing wrong with Soothe. I use Soothe and for taming resonances, but this plugin, it's not usually used like this, but it's something that I think that it will speed up everybody's workflow. So what I do is I come in, I use peak filters rather than just your usual notch because it can get a bit crazy. And basically Melda have made a M-Auto dynamic EQ, which basically listens to signals and can give you not a smart EQ. You can use it like that, but it's like more of a multi-band kind of, or, come up here, put in the frequencies, learn how to EQ with it basically. And then, try and find the suitable spot for certain sounds where you wouldn't have thought of to EQ. That's what it's supposed to be, a bit of a creative thing as well. I use it like this. So this is the hi-hat. I hit analyze. Let it do its thing, and then remove resonance. And what it does is it gives me that. And if I go to this,
No way.
so I know that, but if I don't want the shape of that EQ, I can just come to.
I mean, you can always like kind of tame it,
Make it,
like so it's
yeah.
not as
You can make it
insane.
dynamic.
Yeah.
You can make it dynamic. But let's say, so node 3 is 7183, right? So 7183. And then these two don't matter, so we'll high pass them. Then you've got that brightness at 19.8, which I would probably leave, and I would just...
I mean, you're not going to hear that, basically.
Exactly, but it does take
Not at
up
our
headroom.
age, anyway.
Not at our age. So...
Jeez. Wow, yeah. You can see
so
that coming out, yeah.
And then the node that you've got...
And then you could make that dynamic as well.
And you can make that dynamic, so yeah. And then, obviously a rule of thumb with like hi-hats, how everybody gets taught is like have a band there for your lows, and you're taking if you want to increase it. But I like to do it like this.
I mean,
like
I was never taught that, but okay.
Really?
I mean, I was taught how to wrap cables.
What did they not just do anything?
No, they taught you how to wrap cables, and I was told to write essays about my what I had done. We were taught polar patterns for microphones. There was literally like music technology was kind of the guy who taught us Logic spent one session on it, and he didn't use Logic, and he had read the manual the day before, and I'd been using it for like years.
Right.
And he just told you loads of stuff that was wrong. I was like, well, that's wrong.
Fucking hell.
So yeah, I kind of didn't really get on well with a lot of them.
So this what I like to do. So I like to.
Nice.
I like to get the So once I've got the resonance removed from hi-hats, and I've got the low cut there for the top, I like to do this and find out where I want my hat.
So
that's quite nice.
What is making you make those decisions of like where to put the axis between those two nodes?
So the fundament, like when you're listening on most speakers, the patterns that speakers follow is like, especially with dance music, 10K is usually really horrible in most ride cymbals and that kind of thing. And then fundamentals of hi-hats, like there's like a bit of weight at 4K. 6K is kind of like a nice area to sometimes boost if there's not enough, and then anything above that up until like your 12K I don't see as being contributing to anything really. It's pretty harsh for my ears personally. These choices are just personal.
I mean, I know like the dub engineers, they would crank the 10K and just get rid of everything else.
Yeah, for sure. But what you have to look at is your when you first have a sound, especially from something like FM synthesis, right? You're getting raw signal. Like they're miking up a drum and they're getting a hi-hat. When we're using raw signal type stuff like this, we have to clean it up first before we do any batch processing.
Right.
So we get the color of the sound through corrective EQ first, which will be these two nodes, so which will fit in the track. You know, you might have a dark track and need a dark hi-hat, and then when you've done that,
then you can start doing your
lifts, putting
right
in certain frequencies. So that's where I like to do it anyway. It works really well on mastering because it's essentially a tilt shift.
Yeah.
But
that's
then
great.
The body on the hi-hats is there as well.
Can you make so that those two nodes? So you create that sort of
shelf,
like, so you make a high shelf and a low shelf,
yeah.
and then you select both of them.
Yeah, and then you can just.
And then you do that. Can you make that dynamic?
Yeah. Check
what happens if you make that dynamic?
So basically, you have to get where you want to be. There you go. So it's pushing up and pulling down because the volume's going that way.
And then that makes it more like. So it does both at once. It doesn't sort of rock with a. It's it either pushes both up or pulls both down. It doesn't do like
independent
a rocking motion. Because I was gonna say like that would be quite useful if you could make.
I guess you could just do like if you found your sweet spot and you go right. Well, I want that going on, but a bit more intense volume, and you know you want this one.
Do that one and then
coming down and then
push that up.
Yeah. There you go. And then without it, you've got all. So you cleaned up your hi-hat in literally 5 minutes. And you've got all the fundamentals that you want. You know, the attack. You've got the thump of it, like around 2K. Like people call it the clank, but it can really add to dance music. Can you bring up ProQ to the left? It's a bit behind in the chat.
Oh, because the chat is they've asked me to make the chat so massive. I don't know why the chat has to be so huge. I just want to be able to like, because really it's only taking up like that amount of space.
I didn't insult your stream, Thomas. I promise. I didn't. I'm so sorry. I really enjoyed his stream the other day, actually, with Tim and Danny Skrilla. So it was really good. It was nice and refreshing. So that's M-Auto Dynamic EQ.
I still haven't watched that, actually.
If I go to just like Logic's own shitty loop library, let's bring in this. Because it's a really good example.
Oh, it's going a bit pixelated. Let me try and close some stuff.
So if you're working with like samples from vinyl or whatever, let's for instance say this is vinyl. So what you have to be careful with this plugin is that you have, it will always latch onto the fundamental as a resonant frequency, obviously. So play it. And as soon as you start releasing them, you hear the resonance.
That is mental how it just goes, yep, there's a resonant, there's a resonant.
It's really good to like train your ears as well, you know.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you start putting, you don't hear it when you listen to the sample just normally. And then you go on this, it's like they just pop out.
Yeah, then they're just suddenly you're like, oh, that's really harsh, and how did
Yeah.
I not hear that before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
that's a real.
but you could also like, because at the moment it's doing minus 20 dB for all of those resonances.
Oh yeah. Oh for sure.
So you can kind of split the difference,
100%.
or make them like dynamic as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you can pull them down. And you got attack and release as well, and a threshold.
Yeah.
So they're like mini compressors. You know, you got sonogram as well.
Gotta get on that. Oh, it's going really pixelated. It's really annoying. Let me check on my. Check on my. Because the trouble
Yeah,
is.
Thomas, it's all good, mate. So yeah, that's one. That's the Immorto Dynamic EQ.
Is it Melder?
Melder, yeah, I think it's about €70, and it's just something for workflow. It's really good on masters as well. Like when you've done your final mix, and you're looking for like frequency build-ups and stuff. It'll show you where there's frequency build-ups, and then you can go back into the mix and fix those issues. Like say, you know, if you've got like layers of snares and stuff, rather than spending hours like getting them like not to clash with frequency masking, you can send them all to a bus and just dip out that frequency. And you save yourself like hours of time, and nobody's going to notice. No, and you might even end up with something that's completely characteristic to your track, because that's the whole point of this, isn't it? It's like you're EQing out what you don't like, not what the industry says.
Yeah, exactly.
You should EQ out. It's like,
yeah, it's
what
not
you
like
want.
it's not an algorithm deciding how you should be. It's just
It's giving you the options.
It's telling you these are the resonances. You can do what you want with them.
Exactly that. So now I'm going to show you. I mean, people probably know about this one already, but EXO, something that I use a lot. And I'm
This
going to
is something that I've only recently discovered, but it's absolutely mind blowing.
I've been using this for 2 years now. And I'm going to try and find...
You can randomly select any of those as well.
Yeah, I'm looking for the ones that we were doing before.
Will they be at the top?
They're down
Or
at the bottom. Right. So let's say So basically what it is if ever anybody's ever heard of Argonaut Atlas, this is basically the same thing. It's a sample organizer. So the red is kicks, you know, you've got blue, which is your snares, claps in pink, and so you can basically go like this. And that's a tune in itself. So basically, you go through. You've got all your drum packs and all samples from your hard drive here. You've got everything you can think of, and the idea is to go through and like basically organize samples and preview samples and put them into these little boxes here and make like a pattern with them. So this is something that I've made previously, which was just a pattern. And you could, you know, stem that out and make a tune out of it. The beauty about this plugin is that because you've got access to all of your samples, and you can discount ones that you
just say that again, because you've got.
Huh?
You broke up a bit just then. This is it's so fuzzy at the moment.
So basically, because you've got all your samples on here, you've got the ability to discount any samples that you don't want to use. So like say, you know, I've got decap drums that knock and I don't want to use those. They'll disappear from the sample base that you're drawing from. If I just go and get rid of all these, you know, and slim it down, I can just have the choice of a few sample packs. I can also just click on kick and go through all the kicks. You know, and you know, find one that I want. Same for hats, effects and everything. The beauty of this plugin.
Yeah, but also, what about the thing underneath, if you go back to the search, so you can do it by
Well, that's for the live
the frequency and the length and the drumminess.
You can do
Drumminess
that
is
in
like the
this.
transient, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm presuming so. You can do that in this section, but that's more for when you're live auditioning, which I'll touch on in a second, because that's where it really comes.
But it will
into its
filter
own.
out X amount of the map, so then you can see that basically the sort of the
Anything
longer
over a
samples
second.
tend to be at the
Yeah.
bottom. The ones with like sharper transients tend to be at the top.
Yeah.
And then frequency from left to right. So then it kind of makes sense as a sort of
Yeah.
map, I guess.
So if we're listening to this beat and we like what the rhythm's doing, but we want to change everything about it, we can do.
What was that?
So you just got infinite ideas.
But you can also lock.
You can lock the actual.
So if we go back
drums.
to how it was, and then you can like lock certain bits of it and then swap out other things.
Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that section there. Sorry, the edit section. Then this.
Custom dimensions in the chop. Oh. Thanks, Thomas.
What's he said?
And he goes, put custom dimensions in the OBS thing, into the chat box thing in OBS and make it narrower. But doesn't seem to.
Whip Daddy. Blech.
It won't let me.
Welcome. Yeah, so I'm just going to go through this bit here. So you've got the pattern that you like, you've got the samples, but you want to switch it up a little bit, or maybe, you know, do a bit of a cheeky one and use the same pattern for another song. There's the pattern. I like the kick, I like the 808, but I don't like the rest of the drums. So I've locked those in position so that when I switch, everything will change except for the kick and the 808. Get rid of that sound effects. So now I like the rim shot, so I'll lock that. Like that. But then I might want to change the 808, so look for the 808, unlock it.
You're also changing the clap and the other thing.
Yeah, I didn't like the clap, like the rim shot. And then
You can do them all individually.
yeah. And then in there you can also make the mono, you can
Yes.
and then you've got the transformer down here.
Is that over? That's on the master. That's on the
Yeah.
whole beat, right?
Yeah. That's on the whole beat.
Can
But
you do it on individual channels?
No, that's the downside. I'm
Ah.
waiting for like an update for that. Like, to be honest, because when you're bouncing stems, you can bounce each individual sound as a stem. So if you've got a pattern, you know, you can render the wavs.
And they
They're all
come out
separate
as audio.
stems. Yeah, and you just drag all the stems to your project, or you can do the beat as a WAV, like, or you can do it as
Honestly, this
MIDI.
thing is the sickest thing in the world.
So what Ruxpin was on about a minute ago was the live sampling error part of it. So if I want to go to this, and I like that pattern, basically I can just come up here, and this is basically every single sample that I've chosen to go into these little spots here. But if I bring up this search and filter section, if I click any one of these and I press randomize, it'll basically put a clap into every single slot. But if I click like percussion and then click live filter, it'll put all, because the 808 is locked, it'll put percussion in the rest of the channels.
But according to which ones sound most like they suit.
Yep. So basically, if you come here and you go, right, I want everything to be like
Really short.
100 milliseconds, and then the main frequency of the samples, I want everything to be around 500 hertz or under. It'll give me a live filter of that. Same pattern, different samples. And if you increase it,
I mean, you can just press record and just start messing around with that, and then you've got like progressive techno.
exactly. Want to get just pure high end. Bring some claps in.
Make
Say
the
that's it.
put the drumminess as drummy as you could get.
Oof! I like that clap.
Nice.
So then, of course, once you've done all that and
you can
you've
also
created multiple
like
channels
do a
of,
swing 16, but you can set it for each individual chunk.
yeah. So this is one that did earlier. This was just literally done in like 3 seconds. So if I want to go down here and just select all these back off, and I only want to concentrate on let's have a look.
I like how organised all your folders are.
Yeah,
I've just got I've analysed one folder and it's called samples. It's just everything.
So let's see if we can do. Let's do Afro-Cuban with Brazilian, Afro-Latin, and Afro-American.
Afro-Cubano. More Brazilian. Bloody hell.
More Brazilian, congas. We'll go in for the reggaeton, and just we'll pick up like a kit that's really go for grimoire.
Manor in Cuba 2022.
Oof. Oof.
Have you got that accentuator? Have you got that set to all of the channels?
Yeah. So like down here again, so like Dom's talking about the accentuators, it's like a velocity kind of little thing going on. So if you just reset this back down, if I play the beat, you'll be able to hear what it's doing. So it accentuates certain parts of the beat. And then you've got your swing per channel, and then you've got nudge.
Why does everything cost money, Jack says?
They've got a sale on at the moment and it's half price.
Is it still on?
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, they're just drum beats you would never think of.
Oh, the sale ended yesterday.
Did it really? Oh, mate, good.
Just sign up to put your email in and make sure you get notified next time. They're always having sales, these companies. Yeah. Once they've made the software, it doesn't cost them any more to put another sale on. So
Exactly that, yeah.
nice.
And then you've got a kit like that just comes straight out of nowhere and it's clean.
Oh.
And then put this EQ on the little resonance. Watch your kick pop out. Put soft clip on for any overs. And then
what can we do with that snare? Can we like make that a bit more?
Yeah, we can basically.
What can you do with that?
You can make it.
Oh, you can make it stereo.
Yeah, you can alter the pitch.
Okay.
Per channel as well. So like,
But there's an effects send as well. What's that? Oh, that's a reverb.
You got reverb, spring reverb. Like they're not very good, but you can multi-out this. So like these buses here, you can have mute groups. You can output 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you get 8 channels.
Damn! Where's that? How do you do that?
So like on your, if I just go to X, so here this little plus icon, like it's different for Ableton. So if you go boom, 1.
Which version of Logic is this?
2.
I feel like this is a new version of Logic because I don't have that plus. Unless, do I have that?
This isn't
plus?
only if you actually go in with a multi-instrument.
Oh, you set it up as a multi-instrument to begin with.
Yeah. So there you go. So
what? Yes.
And then still you can go right. I don't like that kit, for instance, and then go down here, select none. So I only want to use. Should we use Prince Fatty?
Yeah, go on.
Prince Fatty, Photech, and we'll use Tams and Shakers, and we'll do
trap drums. Underground trap.
Zaytoven. You've got cymatics. So much stuff. Roots Revival. Let's do that, and then down here. Oh, Foley. Yeah, let's do Foley.
A load of Foley. Nice.
And see how this works out.
Oi.
And then I can just go through the kicks.
Yeah, I think. Occasionally you just get like an amazing...
Yeah, just keep going.
Oh, sorry for the adverts.
Oh, that sounds like that old Breakage tune, DLX remix, whatever it was. So yeah, that's EXO. I kind of want to talk about some other things, but I'll hand it over to you because I'm hugging the time.
Well, that's all good. I mean, I don't really have. If you stop.
Yeah, Jack,
presenting,
it is OP. It is OP.
just click on the yellow box at the top there.
I was going to talk about my drum bus settings actually.
Oh yeah, do you want to do that?
To go over that.
Yeah.
So I can basically do it on this because we've got an EXO going. I can do it on this. So if
Hang
I
on,
just
let
go
me-
back
let me go back to your screen. How do I go back to your screen? I don't know how, because I'm using the trackball. It doesn't let me. How do I do that thing?
I'd say the one thing that Ableton's got over Logic at the moment is the drum bus plugin. Like I was saying to Dom earlier, I was messing with it the other day, and it's just ridiculous. Like for what you have to do in Logic to get the sound that the Ableton drum bus plugin is doing it just takes so much longer.
There we go.
So basically, I've got.
Can you close the Apple Loops menu, because I think it's interfering with a lot of stuff.
So when Apple bought Camel Fat, they basically put all the Camel Fat settings into this Fat Effects. So this is basically now Camel Fat. And it took me ages to work out the parameters for the distortions, but basically what I did was I ran sine waves through EQ and fiddled about with all the distortion types and realized that this is mech and this is tube. So dirt and grit, and the settings on the Camel Crusher, because now when you load Camel Crusher or Camel Fat in Logic, it just gives you a blank screen, but it still works. So I just spent time like analyzing the sine waves. So these two settings is like your grit and mech, basically. And then you've got the bass enhancer, which is like similar to what the drum bus does in Ableton. So I have the Fat Effects. I then go for compression. The compressor that I use, I kind of flip between them, but I like my oxide tape actually as well. Any old tape machine, and then
I don't think I've got that.
And then I have like a little EQ at the end, and that's about it really for me. But if I just dial in what I usually do, the most important thing about drum bus is the gain staging element. So if I look for this isn't a rough mix by any means, a proper mix by any means, but if I just look at -8, I can live with that. Let's give it a bit more, and then.
So what is the Fat Effects doing? It's just kind of like adding a bit. Can you do like a before and after?
Sure. So that's your before.
I mean, that's adding a load of gain. Is there a way?
Yeah, that's just because the output's down at -7. So if I put that at 0. Just shaves off a little bit, watch. And that's why you need the gain.
Ooh.
Down at -8. So gain stage element.
But when you turn it off and on, like, can we get it so that it stays the same volume?
Same level. I've got a plugin for that actually.
Or is it when? Yeah, but if you're bypassing it, then it should be fine. And once you've, so that's on, and then.
Yeah, so it just gives you a little bit more. If I just play with it,
a little bit of fizz on the. Just a bit more harmonic. Like adds a few harmonics.
Bit of glue,
saturation.
Because that's quite clean.
Yeah.
I like it a bit dirty on there, and then the tape machine's going to get a little bit of the little bit of body back in.
Is there a reason that you don't go tape and then distortion?
Right, so I'm gonna show you why. Because this is just for me. This is my personal preference. Like, I'm not the kind of person to not include the kick in the compressor. Like, a lot of people use sidechain EQ and go, oh, I don't want the kick being, in with the compressor because it'll trigger it first. I don't like that because I'd rather, if I'm using samples and stuff, like everything's already compressed and everything, it's like I can always do parallel compression if I want to do like, add energy back into the bus. I just want glue for the whole thing.
Yeah. And I guess you can, like on this G bus, there's a sidechain filter, so you can lose some of the low end on it.
Yep.
Seems the chat has stopped now that there was an advert break. I think there was an advert break.
Is everybody still there?
The video download was cancelled. What's going on? TMSB subscribe, baby. So what? Everyone who hasn't subscribed gets a load of adverts. Well, mate, I mean, things cost money. I don't know.
So then,
I probably could turn adverts off. I don't really know what I'm doing, to be honest. Amazon Prime subscription gets you Twitch. Wow, I didn't know that. Why are Twitch collaborating with Amazon Prime? So what's this then? This newfangled audio?
This is Saturate. So this is a spectral clipper.
Okay.
So basically, what I can do, like, have you ever heard the clip to zero method? So like getting super loud mixes. We're talking like 4 or 5 lufts.
Yeah, is that like where you're basically just smashing the clip, but then you get?
So basically you're keeping the nominal level, but what you're doing is you're just like...
Yeah, you're just like smashing the input.
Not over, but... So it's only like 1 dB there. But then when you turn all that off, drums are really anemic.
Yeah,
and then,
nice.
There's not even any EQ or anything like that. So that's my basic drum bus. And then what I might do is like come over here and I might go for sound toys, actually, Radiator or something like that, or even the Serum FX is cool to use, like the distortion.
Amazon owns Twitch. Well.
What?
I did not know that. Well, this is all cancelled. Screw you, Bezos. I don't know.
So then that amount of distortion there, I can yeah, and that's basically my drum bus. Like, there is a really cool plugin.
What are you doing on the Serum FX?
Literally just some distortion. Like, you can do all sorts of stuff. Add reverb if you want to do it. Like, just because it's on the parallel.
Yeah. That's one thing that that annoys me a little bit about certain plugins that substitute like everything for a percentage.
Yeah.
It's
but I kind of like that because it's making you rely on your own
Well,
dial into taste.
I suppose, yeah.
So yeah, this gives you that.
I prefer to know what's going on.
If I just take this out really quickly.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
kind of making it a bit wider.
Something, yeah, exactly. And then something that I haven't bought yet, but I've got the demo of it. This fucking thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just a kind of like one.
it's fucking amazing. That's what it is.
It's a
I'll
one-trick
have
pony.
nothing-
It's a one-trick pony, but
Does
that
it very
trick
well.
is a bloody good trick. Yeah.
Um, there we go.
You can like turn the hiss up as well, and then like, you know, I guess you could sidechain the whole thing to like the kick or something, and then have this kind of like weird ducking effect.
Yeah,
to
you
the-
could like even just. I mean, I didn't want to pay for it because it's quite expensive, so I built the actual chain just by going the same way and seeing what it was doing.
Sorry, so you broke up a bit there.
So like, I think it's just a filter into a delay into a spring reverb.
Yeah.
So I basically recreated that chain anyway and got close by just having like a high pass at 1K, and then basically the filter of the actual plugin looks like this. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, just
When you-
like
when
a
you-
massive.
Yeah, when you're at
resonant
2K,
thing.
you're there. Yeah, and there's a resonant peak, and it's basically exactly like the same
The
as
thing that I don't understand about that plugin is the impedance, because it's like even at low impedance, it's still really resonant.
Yeah, but that's because of the input. There must be something going on with the way that the music's shaped on the input. So, like, if it's an amplifier and it has an EQ on it, if it's taken from, is it taken from Jar Tubby's?
Alborosie,
King Tubby.
possibly.
King Tubby's, maybe. They've just modelled the amplifier, haven't they? I
Yeah,
guess.
so it's probably just a resonant thing anyway. But like in terms
Exactly.
of impedance, like what is that doing? That's just changing the amount of input to output.
Isn't it voltage control?
Right.
Isn't
And
it
so what does
impedance
that
to do
actually
with
do
voltage?
to the sound?
So you've got direct and I don't know. I've got the manual. Let's really have a look.
Okay, yeah. Let me get my bottle of water.
We might as well learn rather than try and guesstimate and talk shit. Get it done. Right, so where is it? Here we go. Inspired by King Tubby. Spring Bling, Filter Man. So here we go. So it's an MTI and then a Fairchild and a King Tubby. So if it's a Fairchild, that's the reverb.
Oh,
Yeah,
so it's a tape.
Yeah, it's a MTI track tape, and I'm guessing because you've got input through, you've got a level. So is that modelling the tape on the way in?
I think
So is that the impedance?
I think so.
for the
That's
tape?
like how much it's saturating in the tape, I guess.
So you'll have like DPI settings. So you'll have like
I can't
Si-
imagine him sitting down and coding all of this, to be honest. Looking at him.
what, King Tubby? No, definitely.
No, Alborosie. I don't think he's going to be.
No, he's definitely not. He's definitely not. Oh, it's on sale. So
Oh,
yeah,
there
I'm
you go.
guessing the impedance is something to do with the tape part of it.
So what if you turn everything off,
It
including?
just hisses.
Well, no. If you like, so if say play the loop without the. Okay, and take the put the filter on, take all of that off, and then put the filter frequency as off.
There you go. So there's a resonant peak at 1K.
Yeah, but if you take the frequency off, does it actually change the sound?
No. So measured and original. So original will be his peak. And that'll be more acceptable industry kind of like peak. So like
Right.
9 dB, you've got 6 dB or 3 of gain. Yeah, you can hear it.
Yeah,
clunk.
yeah, it's just very slightly different. I think I prefer the original.
There you go. So listen.
Yeah, it's
there you
definitely
go.
saturating more. It's like driving it more.
And it's making the
The
peak
peak more
steeper.
resonant. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that thing. Loads more plugins I can do, but I'm going to hand it over to you, young man.
Okay. Let me line you back up again.
Is everybody still? Yeah, mobile one. Yeah, part-time Python coder.
Where is my? There we go. Let's just put you back in the frame here. There we go.
Shift ego jump lights. Yeah, man.
Okay, well, what have I got recently? Let's go. I mean, a lot of that. Basically, XO is the one that I was like, wow, yeah. Obviously, there's Vital Audio, so this is like the Vital synth, which is the free version of Serum. It looks pretty similar. I prefer it. I think it looks nicer. It's got like nicer sort of UI to it. I made at one point I made a a bass thing that says daddy in the bass. Because we were I was making a tune and we were live streaming it, and I wanted to, and there was a bit there was like a sample from a film where there's a girl saying daddy the ice cream man, and so I wanted to get daddy as a bass noise. I think
You need to turn your loop back on.
oh yeah, you need to hear this.
Wow.
So I made it say daddy, basically.
Dom's got a dirty sausage.
Wow.
So yeah, that was, and then it was kind of like, no, what was there was like if I turned down the voices, and then it went like, it had like a glide on it, and it went, no, one voice.
Yeah.
No, legato.
Is that a vowel wavetable?
So it started off with this thing, which is text to speak thing.
Vegetables.
So it started off with just that. And then I put like an LFO on it, so it kind of like opens out.
Daddy.
And then I put that underneath it, and then this.
Is there any
and then
noise
white
introduced
noise.
into it? Yeah.
Bit of
yeah,
white
that's
noise. And then I put like chorus, distortion, bit of reverb. If you mess with the stereo and LFO mapping, you can get some. Yeah. So basically, yeah.
Sorry,
Essentially,
that was me.
Essentially, that was a bit of fun that I made with that. But there's some insane stuff like there's like a few presets that you get when you download it, and one of them is made by Bilane, and
Yeah, he's
it's
like an
called
EDM
Railgun. And this thing, like, you look at the amount of routing. He's got all these different macros, and he's just... They're all just like...
Siskiyou. I've got
So
Portal,
sick.
and I've got the Thermal as well. I really like Portal, especially the minor chord stuff you can do.
Yeah, Portal's pretty fun. Let's just like do some.
Hello, Snake and Bake.
Yeah, you can make it pretty glitchy. It all starts sounding a bit like
It's
what's his name? Richard Devine.
Yeah, I mean, like for a lot of bass music now, it's like everybody's using kind of like Serum with like frequency modulation from another wave table, and that's really cool for getting like basses, like, you know, the basis of a sound, and then escalating from there. But the thing I find with like Vital is there's so many different harmonic layers you can stack on top of each other. And if you know what you're doing with pitches and keys and things like that, you can create some just absolutely ridiculous new sounds that are actually like really pleasurable to listen to, rather than your typical thwabs or like.
For sure.
You know what I'm talking about. It's like those FM from B kind of wave.
I'm definitely not at that level of sound design, but yeah, there are. You've seen some people making insane stuff. Like one guy, what was it he made? He made like the sound of someone brushing their teeth. He made the sound of an aeroplane engine.
Yeah, if you go on Twitter, you type in #sound design. There's a guy on there who just spends all of his days like making stuff for computer games, and he made an R1 motorbike sound. He's done
phase plant,
Predator, like the phase plant guy, and it's like if someone actually shows you what's possible with a plugin, and it's like, how are you not going to spend all your time trying to get to that level rather than just using two oscillators to get, you know, and then, you know, get feeding one into the other and try to make some harmonic bass. That's cool, but then are we just making music to fit into what's already exists, like trying to fit in? Like, that's the biggest thing.
Well, it all starts sounding very similar because everyone starts using the same tools.
Yeah,
Do you mean like that?
But there's a certain I'd say kind of acceptance. Like if you start sounding like everybody else, everybody's willing to accept you. If you sound completely different to, like some of the beats I was showing you earlier, they don't sound like anybody else. Like, it's like people will accept that because
they can't place it.
Because they can't place it. And we're not going to go on a mad one, but it's just like, why, if we've got all these tools, are we not just pushing them to the limits and just reading every single manual and every bit of text? And, you know, if you buy something, if you pirate loads of plugins, it doesn't matter whether you don't use them because they're just bloatware taking up space on your computer. But if you buy something, this is why I buy all my plugins now. If I buy something, I want to learn how to use it properly.
Yeah.
And I want to know everything that it can do to get my money's worth.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have, like, I get to know it, but at the same time, it's like I have certain routes where, because I need results quickly,
Of course.
I have like, okay, I know how to make that. I know how to get to the end result, and I don't have as like, yeah, there are certain days where I'll be like, right, I'm just gonna go and mess around today, and just see what I can come up with, and that's great. But then you need to have other days where you're like, right, I need to know how to get the results that I want, straight away.
The future can wait.
Yeah, exactly.
The future can wait
Just
while I
like,
just make this money.
Yeah, let me make some 70s disco. I know how to do that. Yeah, but like, yeah, I think in terms of like, yeah, that kind of retro stuff as well, like, there are things that Vital and Serum and all these synths do really well, which and there's almost like a kind of clinical element to it, which you can tell a mile off. But then when you start looking at like all the vintage synths and like obviously with the Arturia V collection and stuff like that, there's a lot of like imperfections that make those synths what they are, and like limitations and almost like sounds that you can't, like you could probably get from Serum or Vital, but
yeah, Diva's one, for example. Synth Diva is like fully like based on analog, has all the different like Nord and Moog filters and all the oscillators and stuff, and there's just so many imperfections built in that when you press the same chord twice, it's never the same.
That's it.
And there's noise built in, there's chorus, there's ever so slight deviations in the wavetable on the oscillator. Pulse width modulation like that. Pulse width modifiers is a good example of getting that kind of Jupiter sound.
Yeah, just very slight, and each time it's like a different part of the of the phase and
And ultimately, people might not care, but I know it's in there, or it's in there. And it's like with what Thomas has just said, he has his sound design days, and he likes to get good at sound design, but ultimately he just wants to make music, and totally agree with that. Like,
it's the same as
music is therapy, like for a lot of people, and it's like, if you're good at something, you just want to sit down and do it. Like, you just want to sit and draw. You don't want to learn how to draw. You just want to draw sometimes.
Yeah, and also like if you're good at drawing, you could get sort of swamped by all the different pens and pencils and mediums,
and HB2s,
and like whatever. And it's like, end of the day, just draw a picture, man. Like,
yeah, exactly. And then if you
people can draw a good picture with a biro.
And if you like it, then what you can do is you can go, I'm going to draw that again, but I'm going to really go in, and I'm going to use all these different pens and stuff. So it's important to get those sketches out, go in afterwards.
And there's a balance as well, because it's like, sometimes I know how like a lot of people will talk about that kind of don't get swamped down in the detail of all your mixing and your EQing and everything else, and just get the sounds down and get the like song made. So just like sit at the piano and write the song, right? But so much of the songwriting and so much of the creativity comes when you are doing a bit of that technical stuff, and you are making like choices in terms of like compression and EQ and stuff like that. So there has to be a bit of a balance, and there has to be a bit of give and take. And I think that what a lot of people are realizing now, finally, which a lot of us producers have known for a long time, is that that nowadays, with all the tools that we have available, songwriting in the kind of like industry classical sense is out the window. And people need and people will complain about, oh, this song uses the same chord sequence as that song, or this chord sequence is used in like 50 pop songs, and that's why pop music is stale. And it's like, no, pop music isn't stale. The technology has enabled you to make so much difference between each of these. You could have the same chord sequence, but depending on what sounds you're using and how it's produced, is giving the listener a completely different emotional response.
So should I tell you who's really good at that? Sia.
Yeah.
Like her music you, she uses the same key for nearly all of her songs. But if you listen to like Chandelier and you listen to stuff like that, they're like breathtaking songs. The songwriting she's capable of is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And you think about when she did Little Man, the Wookiee
Mate,
remix.
that was a banger.
You can't put them two together.
No, I know, but
And that's exactly what you're talking about. Is that
yeah.
the balance? It's like over time. It's like once you give a true artist the tools, they'll go and they'll learn everything about it, and they'll get the most out of it that complements their skill set.
But also, think about, so for instance, the Britney Spears Toxic track, right? So much of the character of that tune is the sort of Bollywood-esque like string sample. Right, yeah. So but a music industry person like traditionally would say, well, it's not the melody of the vocal, and it's not the chords, and it's not the lyrics. So therefore, whoever made that sound doesn't get any credit on the actual song. Whereas actually, it's so much a fundamental part of the like characteristics and the character of the song.
Siski says, "What you mean? Pop music is stale. Have you heard the question?" Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
or, Bad and Bougie, like that's one of my favourites.
Yeah, Millie.
But like, if you listen to music in other languages that you don't understand, the voice then becomes an instrument, and it doesn't matter what they're saying. And then that, and it's another dimension again. It's like half the time. There's so many songs that I've sung wrong for years.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely, like, just I have trouble like either distinguishing what they're saying, and it's like other people are just like, oh, it says this, and I'm like, I don't know, but I'll just sing whatever I want to sing, and it makes sense for that time. So I'm not really listening to lyrics. It's most about the music for me, I think.
Yeah. I mean, and I was for a while when I was younger, I didn't like vocals on music because I felt like it was distracting, and that a lot of the music that I liked was instrumental purely because it was almost like if it had a vocal, the instrumental didn't really have to try because it was so distracting that you could literally have a loop and the vocal would carry it. Whereas with the instrumental music, when it doesn't have a vocal, it has to try a lot harder. It has to have more interesting things happening, and it has to create more of the kind of the atmosphere and get across the sort of emotional, like whatever it is, like the musical.
Jack, have you ever heard of drone music, like the kind of? Have you ever heard of them, Dom?
Sun, yeah, with the zero and
the little, because they're named after the amps, aren't they, that they use? Yeah. Like I absolutely like, since I've been starting this job with Subpat, like Noah, who I was talking about, the drummer, he's like massively into his metal, and he's been sharing tracks with me, and some of those tracks are just phenomenal. Produced as well, like a lot of them are smashed to like within an inch of their life, but like what's the amount of complexity that's in the track and the clarity is unbelievable. And a lot of this stuff, times like if you listen to like Korn, they're using drum triggers with like the 909s and stuff like that. There's some huge subs in there, like even like Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson, that stuff stands out today, and it's all about the songwriting, and it all just slots in together, and the mix and stuff. 100%. I discovered a track by Michael Jackson the other month, and I've never heard it before, and it was on Thriller, and it's called Baby Be Mine. And have you got shall I bring it up and play it? Or will you get the MCAs?
I won't. But
listen to that track, and listen to the moog in that track. And it's got this mad like chorus line with all these backing vocals that are always that
and
sounds
Quincy's
like,
just an absolute don.
but they must have been playing his vocal recorded through a keyboard to do the backing lines, because he's got some portamento on his vocal, and it's like so ahead of its time. And you listen to those details and you think, damn, like
they were doing.
Have we really moved on?
No, exactly. I mean, you know, I used to listen to a lot of Queen, and like some of the production tricks that they had.
Yeah, crazy.
You know, they just went in like, and you know, you combine all of that stuff together, and it's like you've got great musicians, great vocalists, and that kind of attitude towards production where it's like, this is as important a part of creating the final product as writing the chords, writing the lyrics and whatever. Whereas I find like with a lot of bands, like say, well, for me, like my classic sort of go-to boring band is the Smiths. That is like overhyped. That everyone just loves the Smiths, right? Oh, he was such an amazing songwriter, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, he's toxic as hell now, but there was no real. It's a band playing, and they mix and they record it, and then they mix it, and it sounds okay, and then fine. The fact that he's got 3 notes in his vocal range to choose from is kind of beside the point. But like the fact that my main point is like, you know, there's no production tricks, because any production tricks or any kind of stuff would be seen as like, oh no, that's too experimental and that's weird, and that's, whereas now you've got like your Billie Eilish and you're like, where it's like such production.
But there was a track that she put out where she did the songwriting, I think it was with her brother, and then she literally took the whole track on a send and sent it to some distortion. And that was the finished track.
There you go.
And when we were listening to it,
there's no rules.
we were listening to it and we were going, is this clipping because it's too loud on Spotify or whatever? And then every time her backing vocal came in, it went like ping pong delay really, really fast. And it went whoop, 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 like that. And it's like, that's really fucking cool. Like, you know, and you've had the bollocks to absolutely clip your buses to shit. Like, and then put it out. And if you look at the waveform, it's literally like a line.
Yeah.
And then because they've had to turn it down for Spotify, it's 14 LUFS, but it's just a line like this. And it's just like, she knows her market, she knows what sound she was going for. She's not gone, oh, I need to have this kick hitting here and all this kind of stuff.
But also it's just that experimentation. It's just like, yeah, it's so much more interesting, and it really, you know, if she had come out and just written a bunch of songs and they had all been like recorded with a band or like done an Adele and had just done like an acoustic thing with piano, like I very much doubt anyone would take any notice. But like when you just throw the rule book out and you just kind of
exactly. Max Man says, the producer, to me, it doesn't matter lyrically what's going off in the song, as long as the song sounds nice to hear. I think that's how mumble rap was born, you know. Because truthfully, because they were like the beat, but they don't really want to spend time listening because everybody's absolutely faded. So they just want to hear something that complements the beat, and it's probably where mumble rap came from. You know, there's a culture thing behind that. I know there is. I'm not trying to be stupid, but it's like, do you want to spend time like when I was listening to hip hop in the 90s, like Roots Maneuver and stuff like that, everybody was in tune with his vocals. He was quite political and like he had something to say, and
he was abstract as hell.
Abstract as hell, yeah. And his beats were just like a mishmash of UK sound, dub, like even Massive Attack kind of like era, you know, like Blue Lines and Mezzanine and stuff like that. All that kind of dark sound, like all together. But then you put Roots Maneuver over it, and it's like, damn, like you really want to listen to what he wants to say.
Yeah.
Jest, another one.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. But I mean, Jest is kind of more like you can write down his lyrics and they will make sense, like it as a kind of like
flow.
As a flow. But like someone like Roots Maneuver, it's like it's so abstract, and he's got so many kind of like weird sort of buzzwords or like catchphrases or things that he uses. Like there's one line that I thought was really strong on one of his old tracks that was like, I'll slap the bacon out your mouth and dance upon your sarnie. And it's like there's This like that's just not some. That's such a like out there phrase that you wouldn't hear from like normal rap kind of perspective.
Look at Alcoholic Author. I mean, look at this, look at the stuff he did for us. Like, that we didn't know. We titled the track "In the Sky," and sent it to him, and he was like,
"Oh, he just took it to the next
straight
level.
away." He was like,
"Well, he got a vocalist."
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's like, I feel like that too. Like,
It was a total mood. Yeah.
It was a mood. And then when we got it back and we had Faye as well.
Yeah.
And Stig, and it's like, okay, let's write another section for Stig.
Yeah.
Got the brass out, and it was like, done.
Yeah.
Bang.
Yeah.
And that track was, we've been sat on that for a long time. And the thing is with the Author albums, when going back to the songwriting, how many hours a day did we spend on those songs? Like, it must have been knocking on for 16 hours a day for weeks solid.
Oh yeah, but how many hours would you spend if you just came up with the chords? Like maybe
nowadays,
a couple of hours. So you can't say as a as a publisher, if you're a publisher and you're going, okay, well, where's the splits on this? Who's written the words? Who's written the music? Well, yeah, you've written some chords, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
To create that mood and to create that atmosphere and the track as a whole, you spend days just like riding a loop and finding, little, like, what was it? We got the snare from like an old break vinyl, slowed down.
Yeah, it was a slowed down vinyl break off. I've got the vinyl here, and
but like all those choices are so important in terms of creating the track.
Mm-hmm.
That like, it's
an ode to what you listened to when you were younger. Developing that. But in terms of like modern music, like dubstep, like let's say dubstep, like I'm increasingly hearing less tracks that I like now than I have done in the past 15, 16 years.
But you're hearing more tracks that sound similar.
More tracks that sound similar. There's this vibe going on. The vibe going on, and it's like, I don't know if I get on with that vibe, because all my music's always been quite energetic and there's a lot going on and very full. And at the moment, and maybe I'm just not clicking with this minimal stuff. It's all very well produced. If you take stuff from 2006 and put it next to now, it blows it out of the water completely. And I just don't know if there's enough energy in there, what's really popular at the moment, for me to slot something in that I'm making.
Well, that's...
But then if I do that, like, do I look like I'm trying to go against the grain and be edgy by slotting in something that I've made when everybody else is doing this other thing? Because there are standout artists, like if you look at 1985 music, for instance, I absolutely love that label, like, and the differences between the track, the drum and bass, and the dubstep and the 85 BPM stuff, EPROM stuff especially. I love his stuff. They've got a real character and an identity. What happens though when you then go to the top of the pile is you have everybody trying to replicate it, and what it is confirmation bias.
Yeah.
And it's like no, it's like, come on, somebody just do a jazz tune.
Maybe
like
take reference
the same production
from
skills
some other genre other than the genre that you are producing in.
Yeah, like look at Benga, for instance. Like, Benga did techno, he did everything in there. It was like he had the wildest bass lines. Look at the history of Tectonic recordings. Look at even Dub Police back in the day, like what it used to release. It's just, I guess it's that thing of like not wanting to be to feel left out of what's going on at the time. And yes, okay, it's probably a social media thing where everything's popular, but it's like, where are the people that want to go against the grain nowadays? Like, and really put things out there. D-Bridge is one of those.
Well, I mean, Thomas has made a point.
Skeptical.
Like, most dubstep producers make dubstep inspired by dubstep because dubstep is cool, and obviously in the earlier days, it was just a tempo, and everyone was kind of like coming at it from different angles anyway, because it was
There was no
a new
inspiration.
thing.
Yeah, there was no thing to base it off.
Exactly. Whereas now it's kind of like, these are the accepted labels, these are the accepted areas, you know. So it just makes it kind of like it's almost like more formulaic, just by the fact that it has existed for longer.
It's like when I first met Thomas, I couldn't DJ for toffee. Like I'll let you into a secret. My Dom knows this, but back in the day, my CD folder, right? In fact,
we're going back. We're going back in time. Yeah. I mean, this was an inevitability as well, having this conversation. It's like this kind of. I was just saying, this is inevitable, this conversation, isn't it? It's just like, why won't you make another Author album?
Right.
And like, why is dubstep not what it used to be?
So I didn't used to get hung up on names of tracks, right? So I would literally write the artist, and then I would have a system of like stars. So it'd have like 1 to 5 stars. So like, let's see what I've got here. Yeah, this is it. So like, Cryptic Minds dubs, 3 stars, right? For energy.
Right, they're not 3 out of 5 for production.
No, not for production. No. And then you'd have like some chest plate stuff as like 5 stars, and then I'd never know the name of any tracks whatsoever.
I bet that made your DJ sets pretty interesting.
And but that's what it was. It was never about what dub was what or what producer was what. It was about which dub is the energy that I like at the time.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
and you know, like, I mean, some of these CDs, like, I mean, there's just dubs on here that never see the day, and it's crazy. But like, so many good tunes that just never got released. But it was always about that, and it was always about like, if I want to draw for energy, it was like a conductor does. If he wants to conduct the orchestra in a more aggressive way, he starts getting more animated, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So it's. I
mean, and this is the thing that like I don't understand. That in certain, in certain other genres, like if you look at classical music or like you look at film scores or sort of composers, right? They can create a mood, and that is seen as kind of it doesn't matter what tempo it is, it doesn't matter like what instrument it is, it's just about whatever feeling it evokes, and does it suit the picture, or is it making you feel something?
Yeah.
And
sure.
I feel like in a lot of these dance genres or electronic genres, you can get lost in the kind of like fitting into this certain box based on what the other people do, and it becomes kind of irrelevant what it makes you feel or what kind of mood it invokes.
Venetian snares, for example. Let's see him go play at Exit Night or like something like that, like because Exit Records, Shogun Audio. Let's say like.
Everyone sort of curates their sounds down to like the minuscule atoms, and
and that's the thing. It's like when people say now stop booking the same key artists and stuff, and lineups are boring or whatever. That's the sound that they've created, and that's what you go to see. So like now, when you go to a label night, you're going to get one thing, or you're going to get a certain. So it's like with the Navy Cut nights, you're going to get. Get a big sound system and the label music. However, I personally would like to see more diverse lineups in terms of musical styles, and even if it's in the same genre, like
get a promoter that's gonna book people for the right point in the night, and build a night based on like so you can go and
not social media shit.
Exactly.
I didn't know that's what sell tickets, because you can't step away from that. But if you've got a DJ that's put out one track and it's done mediocre numbers, but their Instagram reach is amazing, do they deserve to be at the top of the lineup?
Yeah.
when you've got the guy in the middle of the lineup who's put out 10 albums and
Well, I remember
he doesn't care anyway.
Yeah.
'Cause he's making so much money from royalty payments.
Like,
he can just sit and go, I don't care if I've got 10 followers on Instagram because I've got all this money and you're still having to run around the world.
but
like,
even down to
doing
like
that.
what sort of music they're going to play. Like, I remember we used to have to ask promoters like what time they're going to put us on, because it would be embarrassing. We would be put on at like 1, 2 in the morning headline slot, and the person before us would be like rinsing like horrendous like EDM wobblers, and the guy after us would be rinsing horrendous EDM wobblers, and then we would be like playing some sort of like atmospheric like cinematic stuff in the middle, and you just feel like a clown, like, oh, what, you know, I'd rather have played first hour or like,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, midnight or something than done like headline slot at playing the wrong music.
Jack says, I'm glad I'm not alone with the CD labeling thing anyway, because Max Manor does the same thing.
Right, yeah.
But Jack says, what about the guys with 10 albums, no royalties at the bottom of lineups? Well, I'll tell you what, they get my respect over anybody because they're still doing it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that for straight. Anybody that there's people I know in the scene that have been there since day one, and they're still going and they're still supporting, and they've never been given a break. They've never been included in anything, no matter, like, they've always bought the records and they've always bought the digitals and they've always like stuff. Like stuff on Instagram. They've always been supportive. They've always come to Twitch streams. They've always come to gigs, and they've been producers and they've run their own thing. And they might have only sold a few copies of their own stuff on Bandcamp, and they've not got that break that they wanted. And you know what? They're the people that get my respect more than anything, because they're in it for the real reasons. How many DJs, like, over the pandemic came out and got popular because of social media, because everybody was at home on social media, right? Playing one genre of music, then when they got popular, switched to a different genre because there was more money.
Yeah.
How many did that?
I mean, but maybe part of that is also playing to, you know, judging the crowd, because no one wants to sit at home and listen. Well, some people do, but, like, you know, in terms of like when you're listening at home.
Dubstep to techno, it's like, were you ever really involved in dubstep?
Well,
what
yeah.
It's about, like you just want to have fun, like you know, drum and bass, for instance. It's like, there's people. I don't understand drum and bass. I'm not in drum and bass. I don't speak to anybody apart from like Substance, like rarely.
I mean, it's basically all the rules that you can apply to dubstep, you can apply to drum and bass.
But like times 10.
Times 10. Yeah.
So there's a certain amount of, not gatekeeping, but like scene censorship or regulation, right? I've seen DJs go from nothing to overnight playing like arenas, like, and they're saying that it's drum and bass. Well, you listen to it and you think, that's not drum and bass to me. It is drum and bass to the people that are coming into drum and bass now.
Yeah.
And I just feel like there's like this whole sidestep thing that's gone. And I don't think there should be gatekeeping. I don't think it should be regulation. But don't try and attach yourself to the original thing just because it makes you look cool. Just do what you want to do, which was, I want to DJ and earn loads of money, and be honest, like, and go, I want to be on a private jet. I mean,
the thing is, I think that's one side of it, but then, like, the other side is like, well, you know, look at even labels that have been around for decades will change their style. Look at Ram Records.
Yeah.
It's now a subsidiary of Sony or whatever. You know.
Ram had some fucking sick tracks, like,
you know, their style was like what we would now call sort of neuro or whatever, like, you know, the early kind of Ed Rush Optical style of stuff with the, like, was coming out with like Ram Trilogy and all that stuff. But now it's like full on jump up, like fully, and you know, that's their prerogative to do that. They've obviously, like, taken a business decision and decided that is, you know, when they're playing to huge arenas of people, that's the stuff that gets everyone going the most, you know.
It's like the thing that's synonymous with D&B and dubstep though is sound system culture. And I had the conversation with some of the guys I work with, and it was like, why is there no MCs in America? And it's like, very, very good point. Like, why is there no MCs? Why is there no MCs from England?
There's a couple.
Yeah, but I'm talking like we're talking the bass culture. Like we're talking like
Yeah.
You know, Dan Man, for instance, or like someone who can
like hosts.
Yeah, like Sergeant Pokes has always done really well because he's been there since day one, and he's great, and at nights he's funny and he knows how to do his job. But like in terms of actual lyrical content, like as an artist, like it's just so there's like a bit of a culture gap. Because for me, like, I don't want to piss off Americans or anything like that, but for me, like, dubstep in America is just 24-hour Halloween. It's like
Jurassic Park.
That's what the vibe is. Like, it's 24-hour Halloween, and it's like cool, but where's the dub?
It's nonsense.
Not the dub sound, but where's the relation?
I mean,
I'm not trying to diss nobody.
I don't even know. Honestly,
I'm not trying to diss nobody. I swear to God.
I think it's like a cultural kind of historical thing, because like in the UK, we've had the influence of the kind of Windrush generation sound system culture that has permeated for decades, and then led to rave culture and squat raves and warehouse raves and all that stuff, and like dark rooms where it's kind of, it doesn't really matter who the DJ is, it's more about the sound system and all the rest of it. And I feel like in America, a lot of although there has been like dance music culture, obviously, like techno and all that sort of stuff has come from Detroit and Chicago and whatever, but like as far as the kind of people that are interested in going out to clubs are generally more affluent, and so they can afford to, because there's not really been the like squat rave culture or whatever, and so therefore they've gone from going to gigs where they're watching bands and they're watching like rock music essentially, and
expect a show.
They want a show, they want the name, they go and see someone to go and for them to perform their hits. It doesn't really matter what the sound system's like, because it's kind of more just like the spectacle. The sound system's part of that, but it's not the main feature. Like, it's more about kind of the spectacle, not just like visually, but also like the audio spectacle, which is why all the kind of like high impact, like massive drops, massive build-ups, all that kind of stuff really took off, I think.
Tim SV Thomas says nights play in the US are really nice, good sound, commit crowds. Yep, it's taken a long time to get there, because when we were touring early on, like it was still, it's never been about the American people, because the American people are sick. I'm talking about where the money and opportunity is the Halloween step. Like it is like, it's not a bastardized culture by any means. It's just there's always
a different culture.
A different culture completely. Like that level we're talking about, Thomas, where the circuits that we play and you play, that's more aligned with what I'd say the UK is like. Smaller rooms, more concentration. Promoter might not be making any money.
Usually not. Yeah.
You're not making any money because you're paying for your visa. Yeah. And it's just about getting your name out there. That's it. Like, I've got a visa that I haven't even used, and it runs out in September, and I got it during the pandemic, so I've wasted $2,000. Like, I had the opportunity to go out there during the pandemic and play some shows, and I had to say to the agent, no, I can't do it because I don't want to get COVID again. Like, I had COVID scares me, man. From it's not even from being ill; it's from what it does to you neurologically. Like nobody knows that shit yet. And if one day I can't make music, that's why I'm. You know, I couldn't.
That's
do
it.
that.
I mean, there's Snake and Bake made a good point of like one of the best times I ever had was a completely free festival in the woods that was organised by various crews.
There you go.
And they put their heart into it for zero money, and that's a lot of the times we used to go to those parties in like Adel Woods and whatever.
Yeah.
And it would just be kind of like open decks, or you just have a chat, take some records down, see if you can get a slot, and the people playing there were playing way more interesting music than any of the music that you would hear in the clubs by the big name DJs.
When I first met you way back in the day, it was at a house party, and you were DJing, Rusco was DJing, and
Chris
I think
LD50 and Rezo, yeah.
Rezo. So when you actually think about those times, and you know, like where I lived. I was living with Rusco and a couple of other guys at the time in Leeds briefly, and on the street next to them there was Ramadan Man and Ben UFO, like Hessel Audio, and in that little tiny bit in Leeds, the Hessel Audio label is actually named after the street in Leeds, Hessel Mount, and I lived on Hessel Avenue, and that little collective at the time, everybody was kids, and it's like, look at where Ben UFO is now. Like, he's like probably #1 DJ in the world, like for that kind of like crossover stuff. He's in demand, and it's mad to think that he had a vision.
Well, I mean, we invited him on. Me and Chris LD50 had a radio show, and we invited him on, and he played a drum and bass set.
Sick.
And it was just, I mean, back in the time he was playing, back in that time he was playing drum and bass, and yeah, it was a good set. It was kind of, you know, quite diverse, D&B wise.
But he's like you can't touch his DJing, man. Like you want to talk about DJs, that's a DJ.
I mean, him, and look at Midland as well. I mean, like Harry, who used to go under at Pupil and do drum and bass.
Oh yeah.
And
Midland,
he's smashing the house scene. He's like a huge.
Yeah, because
DJ.
his dubstep, like believe it or not,
I mean, he was making really interesting dubstep as well.
Yeah, really good dubstep back in the day. And he was like, Sparrow, can you show me these ropes? And he was like, Dom, can you teach me how to do this? And it's like,
we made a drum and bass tune together.
Yeah,
but yeah, he was
super nice guy.
Yeah. But again, he kind of had his kind of, I think both of them in their own way, and similarly, like with Ramadan Man, they kind of like were not bothered about being part of anything. They were just doing their thing, and that often, like in the long term, yields the best results. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, going back to what Snake and Bake said, I think America's just had their first sound system conference, haven't they? The World Sound and Power Festival. Oh, right. And I think that's like all the sound systems coming together. And that's like the first thing they've ever done, which is like roots.
Well, I mean, they've had like the electronic music festival, like Detroit Electronic Music Festival.
No, I mean like Unity Day style. like roots, like, you know, like that kind of roots, like let's go to a field somewhere and bash out some sound system.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, Thomas has a point. Like, I'm sure that there are like raves, you know, whatever grassroots stuff in the US, but I feel like maybe in the UK, because it's a smaller country, stuff can sort of become more of like a grassroots thing can have a bigger impact.
Yeah, I mean, you know, look at what we're about to go into, a recession and a dark time. I'm not looking forward to it, but can you imagine what music's going to come out of it? It's going to be fucking amazing. Like, but
you know, trying to do something like that in the US, it might have an impact locally, but in terms of like, it's such a huge country that
350 million people.
It's like, you know, unless something is really shouty and like massive,
Yeah, to get attention.
it's just not going to have the clout, you know.
The thing is though, like Canada, even though that's like next door to America, they 100% get it. Like the times
really?
I've been out there, has been so reminiscent of early dubstep days. Like
Yeah.
the High Five sound system and the Music My Love crew in Montreal, those guys, they fully get it. Like they're it's like going back in a time capsule. And you know, fair play to like Nicole in Denver. Like she's done everything for Denver. Like, and you know, Denver's like the epicenter. But you know, there's places in America that you play. Like, look at the raves we did for Luke back in the day. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
put a lot of effort
fair
into
play
that.
to him as well. Like, because and Siskiyous had a good point of like, you know, in the US, like in the UK, you can go, oh, what's the worst that could happen? I might get arrested.
Yeah.
In the US, it's like, what's the worst that could happen? I'll get shot. Do you know what I mean? Like, I die. So, yeah, it's fair enough that like maybe taking those risks of like breaking into a warehouse and holding a rave is maybe, and also that was something that only really happened in New York, like the reconstruct stuff. And I think in New York, didn't they like, there was a massive clampdown on like gun control.
Spaces. Yeah, it was.
I mean, obviously not for the police, but like, it was less of a thing.
Yeah, well, they started off by they did the whole thing was like an operation which was basically cracking down on low level crime, which then led to big level crime not being as prominent. I can't remember what it's called. Operation Windows, maybe. I don't know. I want to say Windows. Operation Windows. I don't know.
Sort of
Some
Giuliani, Kristallnacht.
Yeah, it happened over. Yeah, even before him. Like, and
Right.
the thing is, it worked basically, and you know, New York is a mesmerizing place.
Broken window policing.
Broken Window. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Operation Windows. We're nearly there, and so basically that happened. And the thing is, like, you go to America and you go to New York. New York is more aligned with Europe. I'd say
Than the rest of America.
than the rest
for
of
sure.
America.
Yeah.
But then you got LA, which is like more
North America, anyway. Yeah.
LA is more, I'd say, more Asian. Like, it feels more Asian. Vancouver's more Asian.
It's definitely got more influence from both, like the sort of the fact that it's on the West Coast and it has that Asian influence, but also Mexican influence, I think.
But the one of the best times
South
in America
American generally.
was when we were on tour and you were somewhere else and I had to go to New Orleans, and I was there on my own and I was next to the Mississippi River, and I was sat next to the Mississippi River and I was like, you can't even comprehend the scale of this river like until you're sat there feeling it rumble. And then as I was sat there, some guy, the homeless guy, comes and sits down next to me, and he's got like a crab, like cuddly toy on his hand, and I was like, okay, so there's like a few miles of like river, and it's like you've chose to sit next to me. So we got talking anyway. His name was Levi, and he was like the sickest trumpet player. Like, honestly, because New Orleans, like jazz and everything. He took me to his jazz gardens. I paid him $20 because I felt bad because he was riding me everywhere on his bike. Like, he had like a tandem bike, and he was like, "I'm going to show you around." He was like, "I'll show you all the music spots," and I was like, "Please take some money because you're spending, you know, your time and effort, and get some food and stuff." And that was probably one thing I've come back from America with, and I was just like blown away completely that human element there was still
Southern
there.
hospitality.
Southern hospitality. I saw the best shit ever, and it's like, even if I'd have paid and gone on holiday and taken all the tours, I probably wouldn't have seen half the shit that I saw. Like, you know, Jazz Gardens was fucking intense.
Nothing beats having someone who lives there show you around, for sure.
For sure, man. Yeah, like, food was next level. That vibe down there, they understand bass culture, and the whole vibe down there in New Orleans is such a different thing.
Yeah.
Should we?
I've not been. I really want to go.
Should we open questions to the chat? Does anybody want to see anything or do anything or want us to do anything, or do you want to tell us some stuff that you're about you.
I've got one thing that I can talk about. Orchestral tools, right? So orchestral tools have this thing that's like a contact type thing. It's called Sign Player. And if you buy any product from their website, you basically get Sign Player for free, and it comes with a load of free instruments, and they're really good instruments. I'm just loading them up now. So there's a grand piano, percussion, string ensemble, big band horns, acoustic guitar, church organ, drums and percussion, felt piano, jazz flute, ukulele, and an electric piano thing that they've just brought out. So it's a bit like Labs basically, but obviously in the same player you can also buy like really intense, like massive orchestral things. Just check out their website. It's called Orchestral Tools. I don't know if there's a website.
James says it's a shame none of those influences are not that prevalent within the USA identity. Imagine how much jazz influenced dubstep could come from New Orleans. Yep.
Yeah, totally, 100%.
Fully behind that.
You know, I'm sure it's only a matter of time.
When I heard you,
yeah, I've not tried out that Lal AI thing.
I'm using something, but it's not AI as such. It's called fuck's sake, let's get the name of it. I don't have it installed at the moment. Right, so have you heard of Steinberg Backbone? Because
no.
Right, so
do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, I'll just share it real quick. So I'll just go through this real quick. So check this out. So it's a drum plugin, right? So it's just your standard drum plugin until you get to the resynth bit. So what you can do is you can pop in a sample.
But isn't this only for Cubase? No.
No, you can buy it for Mac. It's just
but it's on the Cubase website, because that's why I didn't get it, because I was like, oh no, it's only for Mac. Only for Cubase.
No, you can get these for
what?
Yeah. So it has a resynthesis engine. So if you put in a snare sample and click resynth, it will try its best to make that snare with all the different filters and the sound engines that it's got, and then you can it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
But it's made by Cubase, right? It's made by Steinberg.
Yeah.
But can you use it as a DAW, as a plugin within your within Logic?
Yeah. Check it. If I had it installed,
Backbone.
You can do that. They've got a lot of different things that you
Wait,
can
so
use.
is it free? No,
it's like £100 or something.
Right.
Maybe not even that much. But yeah, and the only other AI thing that I use is this, and I use it for.
I've used the EQ. I've not used the compressor.
This is ridiculous. I use it for the external sidechain. When you put your kick into there, it will dial in spectral sidechain for your bass. It's the most transparent sidechain you'll ever hear.
Insane.
Truly the most. It's ridiculous. And then you've got all the different curves of the compressor that you can alter. And then the spectral bits down here, so you can just do it down to like 200 hertz into 20 hertz, whatever. But yeah, in terms of, and then you can listen to it with the delta there, what's actually getting sidechain. So instead of actually having like a kick hit and then your sub bass completely be removed, you can actually have your sub bass with your kick for the first time.
That is mad.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. It only ducks. Can you get rid of the Muse thing? It only ducks the what's
the
it called?
area, because so if you think about it, like a spectral EQ has like what 5,000 bands or something, let's say,
Yeah.
and then it'll
And it only
use
ducks those bands that are
300
specific. Yeah.
to the frequency that's incoming.
My God.
So like multiband. No, because like multiband, you've only got 4 bands.
Well, you could probably add more than 4, but like
Yeah.
regardless, like spectral's like hundreds of bands, right?
Yeah, they've spent time like proper machine learning, like what people want to do. All right, Thomas, nice one.
Nice one.
So yeah, like I'll show you.
Because I've used like spectral noise cancelling, and it's so much more efficient than like sort of.
Yeah, the RX stuff.
Yeah. The spectral stuff's amazing. Like it just really like.
I've got all the Thunderbolt stuff.
Yeah,
so
they keep trying to get me with their discounts, and I'm just like, no, not more plugins.
Let's see if I can turn loop back on.
Okay,
Why have I
I'm
got
not
it?
hearing that. Go back to your thing. Go back to the Muse. Go to your audio settings. That's strange.
Yeah.
Maybe take the. Oh. Yeah. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Right, so just a brief run through on this compressor. It's really good for like learning compression. So click it, learn.
What?
So
It's
the way
like it's sort of automatically set a ratio and a threshold and an attack.
everything. Yeah. So you can basically go and go. Yep, and then you've got input riding, so it'll ride the input to give it the optimum level for compression.
Jeez.
And then it's got a limiter and it'll do makeup gain and everything. And it's just like every single time you use it, it'll be absolutely spot on.
Nuts.
However, I'll show you this now, like the sidechain function.
Why does everything cost money?
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
I just want a sine wave. Give me a sine wave.
But I feel like, you know, there's enough stuff out there for free or for very little that you can very quickly like justify spending money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if you're a lover of like music and you make music and you've got a job, it's like just don't buy a few pints that weekend, or
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
buy,
Yeah.
you know, like I don't drink, I never have, like I don't smoke anymore. I do vape, like, but I don't drink tea or coffee. I just drink water. And it's like, when I think about it, I think
You just sit in a box drinking water and
I'm
spend all your
fucking-
money on plugins.
yeah, I'm vegetarian, so I'm just really fucking boring. Like I don't drink ever. Like I don't drink at raves or anything. I'm totally
Yeah.
sober, and it's like people think that I'm some wreckhead, and I'm not.
I spent 150 quid on whiskey the other day.
See, that's like Backbone and Exo.
Yeah, that could have been. Yeah, I mean, I haven't drunk it. Obviously, it was a celebratory couple of bottles of like very nice Japanese whiskey. But yeah, that could have been plugins.
So external sidechain, input bus 2. So
Sorry, I'll
it knows
move my
that it's
mouse
on.
again.
It knows it's on external sidechain. So I'll play it without and with. Right. So watch this. This is really cool. Actually, it would be if I chose the right bus. There's the kick signal. There's a spectral on that analysis. See how the bass just completely
It's
just
just
molds
kind of
around your
like-
tune. It molds
Yeah.
around it. It's
That's
ridiculous.
amazing.
And you can have like a dirty style.
And wait, are you you're just sending the kick signal to it, right?
Just the kick, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can even go one further, spectral link. Yeah. As far as it'll go. Listen to the delta. That's what it's getting rid of.
What if you set the bus to no output, and so you
just got
so
ghost.
you just hear the. Oh my god!
So when there's no kick, it will come back and be like, "Hey, right, here's some sub bass." Best thing to do, actually.
Wow.
Whack that up.
Is this the delta that we're listening to?
It's just the delta.
Okay, so then if you take it off the delta,
Sorry, that's the delta. That's the delta.
so that's what it's getting rid of.
Yeah. Whereas normal sidechain would just be like ducking at every single point and not returning, like and even when you're using, like, a lot of people like to use those envelope shapers, track spacer or something like that, which is a bit more of like a spectral thing, but I find that this one's just really, really cream of the crop. I really like that one. What else do I like?
I don't think I have tried Suntory whiskey. Oh wait, no, I have. Yes, that is one of the things that I got.
Snake and Bake. I hope you saw that, bro.
I got this Hibiki one. This, oh, you can't see it. It's listed as 230 quid now. Oh, maybe that's the old one
But
that they don't do anymore.
Shall I show you something really cool as well? Check this
Yeah.
out. I've got too many plugins, ridiculous amounts of plugins. Like, I bought this. I don't use it a lot, but because I'm not really a fan of what it does. But if I just turn on the bus processing again. So like, if you're done with your drum bus and it's like, I want to add some, if we're going to talk about AI,
So wait, what's this that you're putting on?
so this is an EQ. It's a smart EQ
On what?
on the drum bus.
Is it? Or is it on the synth bus? Oh no, yeah, you've put that. Oh yeah. Sorry.
The only thing is I don't have the kick rerouted to the drum bus. So that'd be an idea, wouldn't it?
So that's probably why it's trying to add in a load
Add in
of
a kick. Yeah.
kick, yeah. Wee. It's not really a match EQ because it's more like an EQ where it's kind of like just filling out the space. It's kind of like dipping any kind of like resonances and like.
I feel like it's more of tone shaping.
Yeah.
Rather than.
It's
like,
kind of like giving you
like
what
Gullfoss.
it should sound like based on general kind of accepted EQs of drums.
Yep.
And then you can do the same for sort of vocals and stuff like that.
So like for people who are wanting to learn EQ,
corrective.
this EQ is fucking sick. So this is the only EQ that I know of that will give you like
The different
areas.
portions. Yeah.
So there's like a general chart there, and there's another general chart there, which is sub bass, bass, mid range, high mid range,
Nice.
high frequencies, and then you got like like piano, body, mud, presence, clarity, sharpness, and this is a really cheap plugin. But for like,
the thing is, a lot of people will use those words and not necessarily know what they're talking about.
Exactly, that's it, terminology. Yeah, and exactly, terminology, and this is the. Mud and warmth is like universal, but then someone might call it something else or call it something completely different.
Yeah.
But this is a really good plugin for like learning where things are in the space, especially like with strings and stuff like that. Weight, warmth, mud. So that's a positive weight, and then your mud, and then attack, and then string noise, creak, sparkle.
Nice.
But then you've got kick drum. You've got claps, crisp. These things, and what these things do is they put you in the ballpark of what
you should be looking
for. Yeah. So exactly that.
And it's interesting because like certain things you might find like, oh, I do that anyway, but maybe I don't. Maybe I'm too scared to do it enough, or maybe I'm doing it too much. Oh.
Exactly, but then. Am I back again?
Yeah, you've stopped sharing your screen.
Yeah. So basically, guesswork kills creativity. That's exactly right, James. So the thing is that you might want to have like a really high pass kick and a really big 808 and go against the grain with EQ, but ultimately when you come down to the master strokes, those things are going to still be important because the spectrum is the spectrum. The spectrum doesn't change. Speakers aren't going to redesign themselves for your music. You still have to conform in some kind of way to get your point across with the music.
Yeah, and you want to get the best results from the... Yeah.
What's that? What did you say? I've been a huge fan of Duck for this guy. Yeah, so like with Duck, that take, and what's the other one? Nicky Romero one as well.
Oh,
that might be the Duck one actually.
Or is it called Ducker or
yeah, something like that. There's a few of them on the market that all do the same kind of thing. There's Infiltrator and there's Cable Guys and all this kind of thing.
Yeah, I've got that Cable Guys one.
But the thing is with them is that they turn the signal down to, you have like an intensity knob of how much you want. But when you're limited by the envelope shape of how it recovers in a lot of the plugins. Some of the Cable Guy stuff you can draw it in. I just find with the when you're doing it yourself with compression, you always over-egg sidechain compression because you always want it to be obvious. Whereas with the smart comp, it kind of goes, well,
this is how much
you don't need to do it that much, but I'll get the frequencies out of the way, so you're kind of EQing it at the same time. So I guess kind of like a dynamic EQ. It's just taking the guesswork out of it. Workflow and getting your idea down is the number one thing.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just thinking maybe I could like... So there was a track that I was making the other day. And it kind of has like a classic sort of what's it called, like Gen Z dubstep drop.
You're not that old. How old are you now?
Well,
prefer not to say.
I'm a millennial. I'm sort of an early millennial, I suppose. But yeah, like in terms of like sort of a certain style of music. So this is kind of a day's worth of messing around, and I've used a few things. So I started off with a Slate and Ash thing, which is kind of like random piano noises. from like. It's just kind of like
Can't hear
each
it.
time you play it. I should. Sorry, share it with you. Let's just pop. Where is it? Muse. No, metering. Muse plugin. There
Loopback.
you go. Okay, so this is. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
So like each one of those is a different MIDI. It's just the same note in
That's
MIDI.
interesting.
But each time you play it, it just like plays a random part.
Feels
of-
like Euclidean, like some kind of Euclidean thing going on, sequencing going on.
Yeah, I've no idea what's like under the hood of it, but I mean you can look at it. It's all locked with a password, but like it's sort of jumping around each different like. I don't even know how they've done that. They're kind of like triggering from different points of the sample. Anyway, so that was quite an interesting little thing to start with, and then there's this thing, the Spitfire Audio stack, where they basically recorded a load of stuff through guitar amps, but they built
Right.
like a massive scaffolding truss at Air Studios, and there's like 42 guitar amps or something, and the mod wheel sort of goes from 4 guitar amps all the way up to 32, and the mics go like further back. So as you go through this from the starts with so you get a bit of verb, and then it just gets like bigger and bigger.
Nice. I like it.
And then I went up the octave. Obviously there's loads of rumble that you get with it as well, so you have to kind of like bring some of that out. So yeah,
Lovely.
then there was like a pigment synth that's kind of I think it's kind of like doing some sort of loop based thing. It doesn't like it. There we go. Yeah, it's kind of it's based, the LFO changes randomly, like this, the speed there.
It's
I
giving
think
you
it's
that
like
kind of.
changes slightly. I thought it was supposed to anyway. Oh no. That's not right. Hang on, let me drag this so I can. So you can almost create like a, like a sort of standing wave Reese type effect, but with a full chord.
So basically like circuit modeled kind of from hardware, like imperfections.
Yeah, exactly. Sort of based on that anyway. So that's doing the basic chord sequence. Then I started putting like a strings. So this is the strings sound from that sine instrument I was talking about. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. Is the reverb baked in, or is it?
It is, unfortunately. I mean, it's a free instrument, so you don't get the kind of like all the tweakability that you would get with something like, say, BBC Symphony Orchestra or whatever. But anyway, as it was, I played it. I was working with vocalist, and she was like, well, maybe it should sound a bit more like Gen Z and less kind of orchestral. So we swapped it out for just straightforward Prophet, kind of James Blake vibe. General kind of opening cut off.
Yeah, that sounds lovely.
Got a wrong note there. So yeah, and then there's kind of like a lot of messing around with outboard and creating noises with the virus. So I recorded in a bunch of different like wobs, and I picked these ones. So there's stuff like that. I mean, it's all kind of sketches really. I didn't really spend a long time over a lot of them, kind of getting each sound exactly right. But yeah, I'll do it without the vocals, because they're just sort of demo vocals really.
Yeah, Jack, the sequential circuits is sick.
Which one?
You're talking about the newest one?
Is it like because Dave Smith died? Have they brought out another thing since then?
Not since then, I don't think. But the latest one was that it was like a 5 revamp.
Oh right. I mean, the 5 is the classic, isn't it? I think that's what this one is.
Yeah, 5. 5 will be good enough.
I've just turned off all the outboard. So there's no drums. I'll just wait for the tubes to warm up again. But yeah, basically I kind of ran it all. It's all the sort of drums are going through.
Yeah, the take 5 is the one, the revamp. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is my drums bus. As you can see, I haven't labelled anything because I was just kind of rushing it out as a rough demo.
I'm slightly concerned that the drums are in audio.
Mate, I know, but sometimes it works.
Yeah.
You know, I quite like being able to sort of sculpt with audio and like you can pitch and whatever. But yeah.
I would say.
I'm hurt.
So it's literally just kind of like two kick drums again. Like, yeah, I need to sort of sort these out and do kind of phase aligning and all that stuff. But yeah, like this one was kind of like a crappy sub kick. But yeah, I think I need to get that thing that you were using. What's it called again?
The drum designer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I need to get on that.
It'd smash this completely.
Because this is a bit pokey. And this one was kind of like just a bit kind of nothing, and then this one kind of added a bit more poke, but then when you put them together then they lose all the phase. So one of the things that I generally do at the moment until I can get that drum designer is doing auto align.
Yeah. That usually is it a vocal plugin as well?
Yeah, you can use it on anything. Oh no, that's Vocaline. That's a different one. This is just for phasing. So it's good for like if you've got overheads if you've recorded like a live drum kit and you've got like the overhead mics and they're not quite sitting with the kick and snare mics, you can kind of do that.
James disperser on same thing for phase relationship.
So if I just loop this, because it's the same kick every time. So what you do is you use one as the kind of master and the other as the slave. So I think that's probably the best for the master.
And they talk to each other. The plugins talk to each other.
Yeah. So what you do is you send.
Nice one, Max. See you in a bit, man.
Nice one, Max. You do the send on one, and then you do the receive on the other, and you can have kind of multiples set up so that you have like several different sends and receives, so they're different different kind of like walkie-talkie channels, I suppose. And you basically just detect on those, and then after a while it will tell you how much it's adjusted the phase by. So that's, you can see it's slightly different. It's -5 on the phase just to get the low end to sit together so that it's not like cancelling out. But you know, as soon as you put any EQ on it, on this, if you make any changes to either of them, then it will start messing the phase again. So then you have to redo it. But
so this is like a stem mix kind of tool, really.
Yeah, or you know, do it once you're happy with the channels, and then on the bus, once they're phase aligned, then they go to the bus together in phase. Yeah. Then you can do whatever you want on the bus, and change
post phase, EQ.
Yeah. So then, and then I got snare is like a selection of different sort of sounds. Quite a high snare. There's one of them is kind of like a I think this one's like just a normal snare. Yeah, it's quite high, but it sort of fills out that top, and obviously everything you can see from where the hits are, they're all over the shop, but it just sort of sat. If I moved it to where the other hits are, then they kind of cancel each other out. It doesn't work as well. So yeah, just sort of making a bit of a. There's like, I mean, I should fade all of these things, but like, yeah, just an 808. Bit of distortion on that. I'll just bring that down a bit. But yeah. Bit of reverb on that, I guess. Probably a bit too much, you could argue. And then some percussion, which is like broken glass reversed and sort of white noise. And there's like a bell ride. It's just very like probably don't need to have all that low end in that, but again, like, haven't even really EQ'd these properly because probably take that down. And split the difference.
Would you not take that to that fundamental?
Sorry?
I was going to say that peak there was...
It's quite a lot, but then that's the tone of it. So maybe it's about splitting the difference, you know, so you still get a bit of it, but you don't get, like, quite as big a peak, perhaps. The tuner's louder than mics, yeah, that's because of all this mastering stuff. So I'll take all of that off because I don't need it. It's also going out to the overstayer, which it doesn't need to. So yeah.
Nice one, James.
Sweet, James.
Speak to you
Nice
soon.
one.
I might have to dip soon because I need a wee.
Yeah. So yeah, in terms of the vocal like processing, it's very slapdash at the moment. It's kind of like I haven't labeled anything, as you can see. Like it's all very like I'll just whack this together. But like we were saying about the sort of the creative method. Sometimes you just have to get stuff down, you know.
About layer.
And then go into the mix and do all the tweaking, and often, like I was saying about the disco tracks that I was mixing, it's like I went in and did all the like technical stuff, then the end master sounded worse than the one that I hadn't gone in and done all that technical stuff. So it's like you have to go back and undo a load of it, you know.
Yeah, I find that like the first thing that you do, like I don't know, this is how I work. I throw everything into the project. Every sound that I like that fits with the vibe of the track, and then I'm spending time deducting.
Right, because I tend to approach it like I'll start with an idea and then I'll find a sound that complements that idea and then see where that takes me and then see where I need to go next, you know.
There's always going to be one sound though that stays. So there's going to be the anchor point of the thing, or
the thing that's kind of inspired the whole thing. And it sets a mood from the start,
But since like using EXO and starting with drums first, I find that each song's 75% done. Just randomizing. And it's like a cheat, but it's like, you know,
you're letting the computer decide half of the track for you.
Yeah, exactly. Fair enough. Do you know what I mean? I'm not here to like. I'm not here making chart music.
Yeah.
I'm here making dance floor music.
Yeah.
And any cheeky shortcut. I mean, I've done the hard thing because I've sought and bought the samples, or I've made the drums myself, or that they've been recorded by someone else, like Noah, you know, for instance. And it's like putting them into EXO and letting it decide where it wants to put them. It's like where I would have never have put some of the drums that I've made into the track with the rest of the soundscape that EXO would have decided to put them with.
I mean, and a lot of the time, like, even, you know, from my kind of like very basic level of usage of EXO, like you can see I got a couple of bits from EXO and I exported them out as audio, and the way that I used it was like I had already created some of the beat, but I was just kind of looking for something that would fill out that additional space or what was missing. And you can just go, okay, well, I quite like this clap as it is, but it needs something else. And you can program in a sound, or like sync it to the project, play the sequence in XO, and then just cycle through different sounds that fit there, and then find the one that's like, oh yeah, that makes it sound better, you know.
And and the other side of that coin is like, when you've, like, say if you use UVI Drum Designer and you get a pattern that you like, or you program the pattern in MIDI, because you've got EXO and Drum Designer and I don't know, some other maybe Battery 4 or something like that. The MIDI corresponds with the channels on the output, so you can just switch between those and go. So if I make a pattern in Battery and I, you know, fiddle about finger drumming, I'll go to EXO and I'll go, right, I'll put that pattern in there and I'll randomize that pattern. I'll randomize that sound, the sound source, and I'll get the drums that I want. But then I can then take that again and then put it with the UVI for layers. So from what I have with one
you can export
single
the MIDI.
Just have one MIDI like pattern over 3 different instances. One doing percussion, one doing the kick and the snare, and then the rest doing percussion. And it's like in 3 channels, I've got something very, very complex which would have taken me probably a week to program, just doing audio or going through and finding different samples to audition. Because the thing I like about EXO is it'll suggest something that you would have never gone to when hearing it in solo that complements the rest of the track. And you know, it seems to be like, even when working with drum and bass with faster tempos and stuff like that, it just shines because you can do a global pitch adjustment to all the drums, or you can do a pitch adjustment for individual drums.
Yeah.
And that's where you start finding really cool things, like drums become part of the melodics. So, you know,
and
those 2 flex tracks at the top, you can have the same sample in 2 alternative notes.
But also the other thing that in the other way, it's like samples that you wouldn't have thought of as drum samples suddenly become drum samples because EXO doesn't see a difference.
Exactly.
And it just goes, well, this has got some sort of percussive element to it, and you can sort of randomize it, and then suddenly you've got, like, you know, someone shutting a car door as your snare, and you're like, oh, great, that actually works really well.
Yeah, and it's a game changer for me for real, because a lot of dubstep, the drums are very non-interesting.
Well, there's like people are trying to sort of create like replications of things that they've heard, you know.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of that as well. Like, I've always gone for a simple clean sound set, but then it's like, why not have a really complicated sound set with a lot of textures going on, and then your sound design on top of that doesn't need to be as much, and it can be cleaner, therefore a louder mix at the end, rather than making up for shitty drums and putting loads of melodics and textures on top of it to try and cover up that you've got shitty drums. So
for sure. And so much about that style of music, and you know, whether it's drum and bass or dubstep or whatever, it's like, if the drums aren't good, then
I'm not the best mix engineer, I'm not the best producer. I like my stuff, and when I play it, it sounds good, and that's all I know. And
so much of it is not about mix engineering or like mastering or whatever, and that's the problem for me, is like, so many people are focused on the mix engineering and the production side of it, and they neglect the actual like creative like thing in the first place, you know.
Bad songwriting will overcome a bad mixdown, whereas a bad mixdown won't overcome shitty songwriting. I think that's
like a good mixdown won't. Yeah, if it's a boring track, like, it could be produced really well, but it's still boring. You know,
yeah, exactly. And it's like, I read something the other day where it was like, every 8 bars should have a change in your music to keep the listener interested. It's like, to a point, but then
tell that to the techno heads.
Techno guys, which is all about literally just introducing or taking away a kick.
Yeah, or like an offbeat hi-hat, or like gradation over, like, you know, 5 minutes, and you don't even notice how it's
Don't get me wrong though. Yeah, don't get me wrong, techno is hard to make. Like, there's a plugin that makes it super easy called Kickzilla.
Kickzilla.
I need to show you this.
Yeah, no, it's a different kettle of fish, isn't it, really?
See my screen.
Yeah, just move the muse out of the way.
Yeah. Right, so where's the kick?
Oh, hang on, no, hang on, stop sharing a minute. It's moved it onto the wrong screen. Just press stop presenting, yeah. Alright, now let me move you first. Okay, now start sharing. Because it shares to the screen that the picture's in.
That better?
Right, there we go.
Right, so
and then I've got to move this back.
I need
there we go.
I need just a 4/4 drum beat, so let's just see what else we've got here. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Maybe maybe it's to do with.
Hang on. Are you broadcasting your door and your thingy audio as well?
Let's have a look.
Maybe it's that. Yeah, maybe turn off, mute the system audio.
That one.
Yeah, I reckon. Try that. No. What's going on?
I think it's
It's like playing it
let me
twice.
let me just set up a new instrument and see if
Yeah.
it's that, because I do get some glitchy stuff happening with EXO sometimes. And what we'll do is we'll just have a kick drum. That'll do. So, what?
It's still playing some other stuff. It's playing this previous EXO.
Because of the bus.
Oh yeah. I think do like 1 2 2 or something. Yeah. Why is there a shake?
It's 'cause, I don't know, it's just come out of nowhere. Where are we?
What are you looking for?
It's
Infected mushroom.
this one. You're gonna like this, Dom.
Oh yeah. It's like creates like room verb and then like gates it.
More than that.
It's not doing it. I think you got to click like pre-filter or post-filter to make the distortion.
I think it's the type of kick as well. Hold on. There we go. So that's your normal kick.
Yeah.
This is like a threshold.
Oh, so yeah.
Yeah, the distortion don't really help.
Well,
Anyway.
click on like post filter. Yeah, there you go. Or pre-verb or...
There you go. It's just built for techno.
Nuts.
Then you can obviously EQ it all.
It's basically just like creating a verb for your kick.
But there's a lot of sub bass in there. So they like there.
Yeah, so you can just like...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
that's a lot of
Yeah.
sub.
Yeah.
Good. Well, that's good. I have... What have I got?
I'm just gonna go for the toilet real quick.
Sure. I will find what I've been using. So I've started using Punish, which is, so I used this 808 bass, which is from a Shades sample pack that they are selling on Bandcamp, and I sort of I put it into a sampler and pitched it for the main track of the main bass, and I mean, it's cool as it is. I also, for the higher pitches, because it would finish too quickly, so I put a loop on, so it kind of goes, it kind of goes backwards, just to continue that sub. And then I used this plugin called Punish, which is a saturator, compressor, EQ, transient thing. I didn't put the transients on, but just has like this, just like gnarly as hell. It's great, and you can change what sort of distortion. That's so cool. It's got like high pass frequency as well. And then there's this, which is more distortion, but this is it's by the same people that make clips. I think they're called Sixth Sample, and it's multi-band distortion, and you can change what sort of distortion you use. So that's kind of like making it a lot more toppy, and you can mix it in. What's OSR? Oversampling. There you go. Yeah. So there's a lot more sub in that without, and then so, and you can obviously change the Hey! Nice. I quite like that. So, and then that's just getting side chain to the kick. So. What else did I have? I had like Korg bass that is run through it. On it, and there's like a downward sort of virus thing here, and then there's the wobs and various other bits. Just little chops of virus jam. And there's like very fast arpeggiated with a big old side chain on it as well. So yeah, so when the drums are playing, it sort of ducks. Ah, hate markers. Go away. Yeah, and then organ and some sort of other keys doing the first chord. And there's like other bits.
I'm hurt.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that is that. I was just talking about this distortion, the multi-band distortion flatter. Have you tried that? This thing.
Not sure.
It's the same people as clips, but I'm not sure what that does. But yeah, it's pretty useful for kind of bass noises, and just sort of tweaking and stuff. Also this. So this was the original, which is just kind of like straightforward, like boom, and then I just like gave it sort of a bit more movement with this. It's just like saturation, bit of tops, and then you can give it even more fuzz with that. So yeah.
Lovely. Yeah, technology is getting serious, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's making things so much easier. But then
Or more complicated.
there's nothing greater than putting an 808 through a Mackie desk, you know? So.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's. I feel like stuff like one of the things that so one of the other plugins that those guys Sixth Sample have done is like an OTT sort of rip,
Right.
and it's called Cram It. I mean, that's
And it's just instantly ragging.
just like ragging everything. I'm not sure where that's coming from.
Mid-range.
Something is record enabled, perhaps. It's all these inputs, maybe.
So it's an OTT. Has it got variable depth? Oh, it's got a distortion and a drive. Lovely.
I mean, that really shouldn't be doing that.
Have you put it on an input channel where there's noise?
No, I've put it on. No, I've bypassed all of that. I think it's because is something record enabled on here. This one. Yeah, let's take that off. No, it's still doing it. What the hell? Take all the audio off. I'm not really sure. I mean, it's probably good that I put this on, really, because there shouldn't
Where
be
is it?
anything like creating
Bypass
noise.
the plugins before it.
I mean, they are bypassed.
Why is it on the master?
It could be the
It's the noise from the tape.
yeah. It's the noise from my outboard for the
What
drums.
going into the input? Yeah.
Yeah, it's that. My God,
Analog, the beauty, noise floor.
that is ridiculous. But obviously, I wouldn't know that if it was it wasn't this
That's
ridiculous.
baked in, mate. That's baked in when you render.
I mean, fine. So that's it without the Kramit. And you can just kind of... Whoa! Okay, that's quite a lot. What was going on? Oh, it's speed and depth. Yeah, let's take all of that off. There we go. So that's without. Right. Rip ears.
Yeah, like with the OTT, you've got like a
You've
depth.
got the downwards, you've got the depth and the speed. It's all very like
RIP ears. Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
I do have a limiter on the output. I'm not, but it's also got an expander as well. So
yeah, well, with the OTT, you've got downward and an upward working at the same time, or you can have them independent.
yes, but that's the upwards. The downward is
Hello, Moose.
with OTT. The downward is from the loud, and the upward is from the quiet, right?
Yeah.
But with this, you can flip it the other way round.
Okay.
So it makes the quieter stuff even quieter, and makes the
Okay.
louder stuff even louder.
Okay.
So it's quite useful for like if you're squashing the mix already too much, then you can start like making like
I'm hurt.
oh my god, it's having an absolute freak out. In theory, you
They
should
should have
be
called it "Damn It." They should have called it "Damn It."
In theory, you should be able to just
I'm hurt.
so if I bring that up, it pushes the tops down. So it makes more of the transients. See what I mean?
Bypass it.
I'm hurt.
So obviously all my compression is like squeezing everything to make it louder. But then what if I've gone too much? Then I put this on and it's just doing like the bits that are slightly louder, making them even louder and the other stuff quieter. Obviously that's quite extreme. But you can just do it a little bit and you can get
What if
your
you-
transients back, you know?
What if you just can you disable like, I don't know why I'm wielding a hammer, but
Disable.
it's the ban hammer. It's the ban hammer.
What? Who
Can
are
you
all these spammers in my chat now? Go away.
Basically, can you disable the low band?
Yeah,
Here comes the ban hammer for the
you
box.
can bypass it, I think.
Yeah, just one band.
Yeah, so you can just do that, or you can just do that.
Because I'd be inclined to let the kick just breathe, and then
I'm hurt.
yeah.
I'm hurt.
Did you hear the? So listen to the white noise sort of descending, which should just be. But when this is on, it's like.
Because it's notching it.
Yeah.
I'm hurt.
Yeah. So it's kind of creative.
But then it also has distortion as well, so you can like make it even more. Like.
I might have to look into this. It'd be really nice
Pre and post distortion.
for the drum bus, I think.
Yeah.
Just,
So let's try that. Let's put that on here, and
because I would have the low disabled for the drum bus, and I'd
And
probably push
maybe
the mids and bring the
put
highs
clips
down.
afterwards. So
I'm
Yeah, just solo the drums. Push the mids a bit.
Well, that's the thing. It's
A bit lower. Yeah. Introduce some distortion, right? And then see where the highs are at.
so then yeah. It's got different types of distortion and drive. There's like you can sort of change the
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm into that. Yeah, I'm down with that.
and then you
Yeah.
put that back on.
Fully down with that. That crash symbol's massive.
Yeah, that's partly because of the mix and the distortion. It's way too loud, isn't it? Whoosh! Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah, it's a nice bit of texture that it adds. You see, I wouldn't go full wet on this. I'd have it like maybe 25-50% on the mix.
Yeah. See what difference it makes. So like,
Just listen to the colour of the kick.
that's before.
Yeah, boom, pretty muted.
Maybe a bit more.
Yeah, it opens. It's got a similar. Do you know what it feels like? It feels like Distressor. You know when the Distressor opens up the drum bus, like it's got that kind of, not the nuke setting, but like when you got like 2 or 3 gain reduction on like 6-to-1 ratio with the Distressor, and that's what I'm getting from it. Like it really opening it up.
Yeah. And obviously then with the clipper
the
as well, it's also got a transient shaper on it as
Yeah.
well, so you can kind of go from like very pokey, loud to sort of more kind of smooth. I quite like having just a little bit extra. And obviously with the shape you can start kind of compressing before it hits the top. Or you can just have like a flat like brick wall kind of vibe. And you can make it multi-band as well, which is quite handy. So,
Play it in context.
so for instance, like well, this is without any clipping.
I'm hurt.
Just turn that up a bit. You have to balance the DCL. It goes a bit wrong sometimes.
I'm hurt.
So then, yeah, if you just take sort of, to move the bands around, if we just take the sort of kick element and solo that, and we can make that like super punchy, but obviously when you make it brick wall it goes flabby. So you can make that like,
Can you not adjust the knee?
so, so then, yeah, if you just, if you just take the sort of kick element and solo that, and we can make that like super punchy, but obviously when you make it brick wall it goes flabby. So you can make that like, so you can make that like super punchy, but obviously when you make it brick wall it goes flabby. So Well, that is the knee, basically.
Right. Oh, so I see. Yeah.
So, I guess for the lower frequencies, it's more important to have like a
Have the
longer
shape.
knee.
Yeah.
And we can kind of make that transient super like pokey.
I wonder why they didn't call it knee.
Yeah, don't know. And that's obviously a clip, but you can do compression as well, so you can kind of make slower attack. And then you could go to the mid, and you could like clip that while you're you're not clipping the kick, you're just like compressing the kick. But and then we just make.
I shall have a look into these. I think I want to get that the other one. Damn it.
Damn it. I mean, both of these are like and this you can change this from like from left right to mid side as well. So if you want like
that's
for
what
instance,
I find. Yeah, like a lot.
For the kick, you could go mid side and just make it like super mono.
Yeah, man. Like for
and then
mono compatibility, like.
Yeah, and then
people
like,
miss a massive trick on the mastering for the mid side.
Yeah, so then like for the tops, you could go left. You could kind of go mid side, but like push the sides out more.
Yeah. What? How does it affect the phase correlation though?
I'm not sure. Let's find out. So. Okay, so that's quite brutal, that. Let's just bring that down a bit. Okay.
Because all that lovely detail that's in the Foley just get lost.
Split the difference halfway. Obviously right now it's like super loud. So maybe you could do another clip on that afterwards with just clipping the top of everything. As kind of like what's it called? Sort of damage limitation.
It's the best way to 3 lufts you've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean. They're pretty pokey drums. If you then take all of that off.
In context though.
It's gone from like a very dynamic drum sound to like more punchy to then very loud and pokey to then controlled, loud and pokey.
Great.
Yeah.
Great job.
Super loud. Anyway, I don't know how to ban bots or do any of that stuff. I'm very what's it called?
Boomer.
I'm basically a boomer. So yeah. But yeah, I guess we should probably call it. I need to head home for dinner. I was supposed to have run off all those stems for the disco thing today, but anyway.
Well, don't you worry. Don't you worry, lad.
Yeah. Nice one. I'm getting a load of messages now. But yeah, thanks to everyone for listening. This has been myself, Ruxpin, Dom Howard Music.
Dom's a dirty boomer.
There we
Dom's
go.
a dirty boomer.
And yeah, and Ryan, J Sparrow. Anything to plug? No, stop.
What?
Bum. Plug your bum. Plug your bum. Get your mum out.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, bye.
So nothing to plug then. All right.
Just
Navy cut.
we should do it. No, we should do it. We should do it. We should do it regular. But like now we've got the technology, we can make music properly.
For sure. This is super easy, isn't it? Just like
Yeah, it's really nice way to work.
I did so many sessions on Muse, like with there was a guy in West London, and yeah, he could have come to the studio, but it was like, why bother when you can sit at home and like then we can start earlier, you know. So yeah,
No problem.
great.
Yeah, big ups everybody. If you watch it back, yeah, reach out and share it with your friends. They might enjoy it, and we'll probably do it again some point soon, and actually like make some music as well as talk about other stuff. There's loads of stuff we didn't do today, like play music that we've made.
I don't think anyone came here for that, to be honest.
Yeah.
But they can listen to it on Bandcamp. What's your Bandcamp?
They can listen to it on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
My Bandcamp is
Or put it in the chat.
J Sparrow Dubstep Bandcamp. No, navycut.bandcamp.com.
Navy cut, one word. Bandcamp.
Yeah, and then
.com.
there's J Sparrow Dubstep Bandcamp or something like that.
J Sparrow. Does it work
Go and
without
download
the
loads of free stuff.
camp.com? Does that work without the yes. Okay. And this is my one.
Download my bum.
It's just never gonna get old.
Right. Nice one, everyone, for tuning in. I'm gonna go and buy that. What's it called again? Drum
Designer.
Yeah. That's sick. Right.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. There you go. Nice one. Yeah. Take it easy. I don't know when my next stream will be, but they're usually quite boring. Also, you can go to.
I'll be there. I'll come and help
what's
you.
my YouTube? That's got all my past
Mistakes.
yeah, exactly. All my terrible, boring streams about various different things to do with music production. If you go to, there we go. I'll copy that. I'll put that in the chat. This is.
Well, if we talk about it again, we can probably like
Videos.
actually have a plan for making a tune.
Yeah.
Properly. When you've got Drum Designer, they'll be a lot easier because then you'll be able to fiddle with it and you'll be able to know
Just
what.
Slam stuff in. Great.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, nice. Excellent. Right, nice one, dude.
Yep. Peace out.
I'll speak to you soon.
I'll see you.
Where's the thing? There's so many bloody things open. Right. Cheers.
Okay.